LoveLore Library. Chapter 12:10. She lost. Lu Xueyu actually lost. At the moment when the result of the competition was announced, Chen Qi of Fengdu thought that she had heard wrongly. The soldiers of Fengdu hurriedly rescued Lu Xueyu. But when they saw Lu Xueyu's situation, they all looked solemn. Lu Xueyu, who was unconscious, in addition to the injuries on her body, had the most serious injury on her hand. Because of the power of Celestial Fox's inheritance, her right hand, which had transformed into the Yama Fox Claw, was directly smashed into powder by the terrible Azura thorns. Lu Xueyu's right hand was destroyed. Fengdu, this time the gains do not make up for the losses. The onlookers on the side all shook their heads and sighed. Among them, there was no lack of some Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from other capital cities who were gloating. If it was said that Lu Xueyu was very likely to become the Celestial Fox Saintess because of her appearance, strength, and the protection of the elders, then after this battle, anyone could see that Lu Xueyu, who had lost a hand, could no longer become the Celestial Fox Saintess. Without Lu Xueyu and Fengdu, no one else had the ability to become the Celestial Fox Saintess. For the sake of a few rooms, she had overestimated herself and her right hand was destroyed by an inferior half-orc. Lu Xueyu was really the #1 fool in the world. While lamenting Lu Xueyu's stupidity, the other candidates of Saintess candidates also looked at Yun Sheng with a look of avoidance. Earlier, their views were similar to Lu Xueyu's. They would not treat an inferior half-orc as a competitor at all. But now, it seemed that the real person did not reveal herself. This half-orc with a veil might be a big dark horse in this Celestial Fox Saintess candidate. So powerful. Hua Yanluo and Qin Yu felt like they had swallowed a few flies in one mouthful. After a long time, they spat out a sentence. The way they looked at Yunxing had changed from disdain to disbelief, and then to horror. It turned out that this woman was so powerful. They clearly remembered that on the way to Hu City, they had given Yunxing a lot of looks, especially Hua Yanluo. She had been pointing fingers at Yunxing along the way. Now that he thought about it, he was also scared. No wonder General Tsang was so respectful to Yunxing along the way. This woman was clearly Tsangdu's military advisor, Heshai, who had deliberately placed her in the escort team. The result of the competition is out. Innkeeper, please announce the result. After Yunxing defeated Lu Xueyu, she did not show much joy. Wait. Chen Qi from Fengdu was unwilling to give up. She took a step forward and pointed at Yunxing. How dare you? Before the competition started, we had already agreed on 3 points. We said that this time, the competition will end when the competition ends. You, a little half-beast human, actually dared to disobey the rules of the competition and hurt Xueyu. Lu Xueyu relied on the fact that she was the granddaughter of Elder Lu from the Elders Guild and was the absolute leader of the Saintess candidates in Fengdu this time. But now, because she fought for a few rooms, she had become a cripple. If Elder Lu knew about this, Chen Qi and the others would not be able to bear the consequences. Thus, Chen Qi put all the blame on Yunxing. What a joke. A few hundred pairs of eyes saw it. Just now, it was clearly Lu Xueyu who attacked first. I was forced to retaliate out of self-defense. Or is it that the life of a half-beast human is worthless compared to the life of a beast man? Yunxing's eyes darkened as she coldly stared at Chen Qi. Although the Netherworld Ghost King had taught Yunxing the Demon God transformation, this was the first time Yunxing had used the Demon God transformation to transform her Dharma soul. Lu Xueyu had attacked ruthlessly again. Under such circumstances, Yunxing had already been merciful by not killing Lu Xueyu in one move. Chen Qi was pestering her like a mad dog, and Yunxing was already somewhat displeased. Apart from questioning Chen Qi, Yunxing's words had a deeper meaning. They were meant for the ears of the few hundred onlookers present. Many of these onlookers were half-beast humans. They had been discriminated against and bullied by the beast men for many years, and this had long made them feel indignant. That's right. This saintess candidate is right. We all saw it. It was Lu Shuiyu who attacked first. Don't embarrass yourself if you're not as skilled as others. Go back to your Feng city. The half-beast humans were enraged, and their voices of reprimand were incessant. Chen Qi's expression was ugly, and Lu Yunshuang only looked on coldly from the sidelines. Humph, what a sharp-tongued girl. Just as the people of Feng City were at a loss of what to do, a cold voice broke the silence. An old man in luxurious clothes rushed in with several guards. Elder Lu, it's good that you're here. You must seek justice for Shuiyu. Her hand. When she saw the old man, Chen Qi rushed forward as if she had seen her savior. As she spoke, Chen Qi began to cry. When they saw the members of the Celestial Fox Tribal Nations Elders Guild appear, the half-beast humans who had been making a racket earlier all fell silent. Their gazes on the people of Tsangdu changed from initial support to sympathy. Everyone knew that in whose city, other than the clan leader, the Elders Guild had the most power. Today's competition had actually alarmed the Elders Guild. The people of Tsangdu would probably have a hard time in whose city from now on. Elder Lu was Lu Shuiyu's grandfather. He had very sharp eyes and ears in whose city. Just now, he heard that the saintess candidates from Feng City, led by Lu Shuiyu, had fought with the 3 saintess candidates from Tsangdu. Elder Lu did not take this matter to heart at first. Who would have thought that he would later receive news that Lu Shuiyu had lost? Not only had she lost, but her hand had also been crippled. Seeing his granddaughter in such a state, Elder Lu's anger rose from the bottom of his heart. He glanced viciously at Yunxing, Hua Yanluo, and Qin Yu one by one. In the end, he fixed his eyes on Yunxing, who looked the most indifferent. I can give you a clear answer to what you said just now. In whose city, a dirty half-beast human like you is not allowed to behave atrociously. Elder Lu noticed Yunxing's fox ears and fox tail. A lowly half-beast human dared to hurt his precious granddaughter. He glared angrily, and his figure shot out explosively. The strength of the Elders Guild of Celestial Fox was naturally not to be underestimated. Yunxing had just gone through a tough battle, so her magic power had been consumed. She was shocked and was about to summon the king of evil spirits. Elder Lu, wait. At this moment, a loud voice, accompanied by a figure, suddenly appeared in front of Yunxing. Elder Lu's hand was blocked by someone. There was actually someone in whose city who dared to stop Elder Lu. An amiable old man stood between Yunxing and Elder Lu. When he saw the old man, Elder Lu's face twitched as if he had seen something unbelievable. You. Why are you here? It's the last day of the month. The monthly ticket will be invalid. Please knock me out. Chapter 12:11. Elder Lu's attack just now had the intention to kill. So what if he killed 8 or 10 half-beastmen in whose city? As long as the clan leader and the elders did not come personally, no one could do anything to him. However, Elder Lu did not expect that at this critical moment, someone would appear. Moreover, this person was even more difficult to deal with than the current clan leader of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu. I heard that the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was very lively this time, so I rushed over to join in the fun. Now that I've seen you today, it was indeed a worthwhile trip. That being said, Elder Lu, in the duel earlier, this old man clearly saw that it was indeed your granddaughter who executed the killing blow first. This young lady was only forced to do so. Your granddaughter is the one who doesn't abide by the rules. The old man looked very amiable, but there was an irresistible majesty in his words. In other words, not only was Yunxing not wrong, it was Lu Shuiyu, whose right hand was crippled, who was at fault. Even Elder Lu understood that this old man was clearly standing on Tsangdu's side. Elder Lu's gloominess could be said to be endless. He finally understood that his granddaughter, Lu Shuiyu, had no chance at all. The outside world might not know what the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was for, but as a member of the Celestial Fox Elders Council, Elder Lu was very clear about it. To put it bluntly, the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony this time was for the grandson of this elder in front of him, who was also the young clan leader of the Nine Yuan tribe, to choose a wife. This old clan leader actually came to Hu City personally to watch the Saintess selection ceremony this time. The most terrible thing was that his granddaughter actually made the killing move right under his nose. Now, even if he had 100 mouths, he could not explain himself. Thinking of this, Elder Lu was disheartened. At the same time, he hated the culprits who had caused this situation, Yunsheng and Tsangdu's people. He thought to himself, Tsangdu, don't be too complacent. When the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony officially begins, I'll teach you a lesson. Since you can testify, then there must be something wrong with Shuiyu. This old man apologizes on behalf of my granddaughter, Shuiyu. Elder Lu's attitude had undergone a 360-degree change. This stunned Tsangdu, Fengdu, and everyone else present. When had they ever seen Elder Lu of the Council of Elders bow his head and apologize to someone? Elder Lu apologized with his mouth, but there was a knot in his chest. After apologizing, he ordered people to take Lu Shuiyu and Feng Du away in a sorry state. A soul-stirring competition came to an end just like that. Yunsheng looked at the old man curiously. She saw that the old man's sideburns were gray, and he looked very old. However, his pair of old eyes were 30% benevolent and 70% wise. One look and she knew that he was not a simple person. Even the people of Celestial Fox's Council of Elders had to be courteous to him. Who exactly was this old man? Hehe, you're Tsangdu's Celestial Fox Saintess candidate. You're a dark magician. The Nine Phoenix clan leader rushed out when he saw Elder Lu making things difficult for Yunsheng. Even the Nine Phoenix clan leader did not detect the demon god transformation that Yunsheng used just now. He only knew that Yunsheng was a gifted dark magician. Unlike the prejudice against dark magicians in the Boundless Land, in the Eight Wastelands continent, dark magicians were the same as other magicians. As long as their strength was tyrannical, they would be respected. Previously, the Nine Phoenix clan leader saw that Yunsheng's medical skills were not bad. Then, he saw her shockingly powerful dark magicians and had some impression of her. Unfortunately, that eyesore of a veil blocked the clan leader's eyes. He could not see Yunsheng's specific appearance clearly. The clan leader felt a little regretful. This old man's gaze looked so gossipy. Yes, I am from Tsangdu, thank you for your help just now. Yunsheng was a little embarrassed by the Nine Phoenix clan leader's stare. She could only lightly cough a few times. You're welcome, you're welcome. This old man hates pure-blooded beastmen the most. Don't worry, this old man and this old man's grandson do not discriminate against beastmen at all. The Nine Phoenix clan leader did not mind Yunsheng's Celestial Fox Beastman identity at all. So what if she had a pair of fox ears and a fox tail? It looked pretty good. How should I address you? Yunsheng was confused. She was just thanking him. What did it have to do with his grandson? You can call me old man. I say, young lady, what's your name? How old are you this year? Where do you live? Do you have parents, brothers, and sisters at home? The Nine Phoenix clan leaders' questions were asked in one breath, without even a pause. Fortunately, there was still a veil on Yunsheng's face. Otherwise, the Nine Phoenix clan leader would have found that Yunsheng's face had been frozen. Master, it's getting late. You also promised to attend the banquet. The two people of the Nine Phoenix clan on the side really could not stand it anymore. The gaze of their old clan leader was as if he had already regarded this celestial fox beast man, whose appearance was not even clear, as his future granddaughter-in-law. If the young clan leader saw this scene, he was afraid that his brain would be congested with blood. The two people pulled the gossipy Nine Phoenix clan leader away. Little girl, you have to work hard. You must enter the final selection of the Holy Maiden. This old man is very optimistic about you. Before leaving, the Nine Phoenix clan leader did not forget to look back and shouted at Yunxing. Inside the inn, it was finally quiet and cheerless. Looking at the devastation on the ground, the innkeeper's face was full of pain. Hua Yanluo and Qin Yu had not recovered from the dramatic change just now. The competition is over. According to the agreement just now, 2 celestial fox inheritances. Yunxing walked in front of Hua Yanluo. Hua Yanluo suddenly remembered this matter. Earlier, she had made a promise in front of Yunxing, saying that as long as she defeated Lu Shuiyu, she would. At this time, Hua Yanluo's intestines were green with regret. She really wanted to give herself a few hard slaps. She had risked her life and even put her only celestial fox inheritance on the line, but in the end, she had made a wedding dress for someone else. Lu Shuiyu's celestial fox inheritance and the celestial fox inheritance that she only remembered, in the end, would all be given to Yunxing. You. Take it. I don't believe that you can learn it. Hua Yanluo was furious, but after seeing Yunxing's strength, she did not dare to disobey Yunxing. She could only stomp her feet and stare at Yunxing. According to the agreement, Yunxing finally received 2 celestial fox inheritances. Qin Yu, who was standing at the side, was also unwilling. She looked at Yunxing enviously as she took the 2 boxes with the celestial fox inheritances from the innkeeper. Chapter 12:12. When the Nine Phoenix clan leader walked out of the inn, one of his 2 subordinates walked up to him. Old clan leader, did you sleep with that woman just now? But she's only a beast man, and she doesn't seem to have any background. Everyone could see that the beastman woman had seriously injured Lu Shuiyu, and the vengeful elder Lu wouldn't let it go easily. So what if she's a beastman? Don't forget, in the Bakra orcs, strength is everything. If elder Lu wants to scheme, then go ahead. If she can't even control a mere celestial fox clan leader, then that girl is too weak. The Nine Phoenix clan leader chuckled. But old clan leader, that woman is too sharp. With such a character, she might not be qualified to be the young clan leader's wife. The Nine Phoenix clan wasn't a low-level beast clan like the Celestial Fox clan. As the future wife of the Nine Phoenix clan's young clan leader, other than being able to convince the Nine Phoenix clan, she also needed to be able to deal with the other 2 high-level beast clans. In the eyes of the 2 subordinates of the Nine Phoenix clan leader, that celestial fox beast man had offended Elder Lu despite knowing that she was in whose city. She was young and impetuous, and didn't know when to advance or retreat. You're wrong. Endure when necessary. Don't tell me you want your future young clan leader's wife to be a coward. Besides, didn't you see that the beastman woman is very clever? She didn't reveal herself at first, but in the end, in order to fight for the inheritance of the 2 celestial fox clans, she stood out. This is a classic case of pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. I like this temper. The Nine Phoenix clan leader was so angry that he glared at his 2 subordinates. The Nine Phoenix clan leader wouldn't tell his 2 subordinates. Back then, when he was fighting for the clan leader's position, he was also inconspicuous at first. It wasn't until his clan brothers fought to the death that he shocked the world and took the position of clan leader. His grandson, Green, was talented and had enough prestige in the clan. It was just that he was spoiled since young and was too arrogant. He needed someone to teach him a lesson. This celestial fox half-beast woman seemed to be a good wife. Right now, the most important thing was how to make his grandson and that rebellious girl like each other. The old patriarch of the Julon clan had a scheming look on his face. His two subordinates looked at each other, shook their heads helplessly, and followed. While the Nine Phoenix clan leader was observing the prospective granddaughter-in-law in Hoodoo, Yaoji and Grey Feather had already found the young clan leader Green. Because his grandfather arranged the marriage without permission, Green left the tribe in anger. At this time, he temporarily stayed in the D clan. Your subordinates have failed to complete the task. Please punish us, young patriarch. Yaoji and Huiyu knelt in front of Green. The man in front of him did not speak immediately. He tilted his head and pondered. Yaoji raised her head slightly and stole a glance at Green. The young patriarch of the Nine Phoenix clan had been very good-looking since he was a child. A few years ago, he was still a young boy, but his eyebrows, eyes, and nose were all exquisite. When he recovered his inheritance and integrated part of the power of the Nine Phoenix King Sarira, his outline also changed. Although he was no longer young, he gained a kind of breathtaking masculine beauty. The current Green was like a canary that had transformed into a soaring eagle, striking fear into the hearts of those who looked at it. Get up. This time, it's not your fault. No one can change my grandfather's temper. Green rubbed his good-looking eyebrows. He had heard from the Nine Phoenix clan that his willful grandfather had gone to the Celestial Fox tribal country. Because of this, his good friend, Violet, even mocked him unkindly. Needless to say, Green knew that his grandfather must have gone to watch the selection of the Celestial Fox Saintess. Perhaps, as Z had said, the old man would bring back a granddaughter-in-law as soon as he came back. Speaking of the Celestial Fox Saintess, Green's mind naturally substituted a pronoun, trash and coquettish. The trash was naturally the previous Celestial Fox Saintess, Hushing. Although they were both the young patriarch and saintess of the Bakra orcs and had been baptized by the beast deity at the beast god altar since young, Green did not have any impression of that trash saintess, Hushing. Green did not even have any memory of how many eyes and nose she had. It was probably because that woman had no sense of existence. The coquettish was Hu Linglong. Because she was Hu Xing's close relative, Hu Linglong entered the beast god altar with Hu Xing. But different from Hu Xing, who had no sense of existence, Hu Linglong had too much sense of existence. Wherever Green appeared, there would definitely be Hu Linglong. If it were not for Z at that time, Hu Linglong would have stuck to him even tighter. It was also because of Hu Linglong that Green hated the Celestial Fox women so much. But his grandfather just had to make some **T agreement with the old patriarch of the Celestial Fox tribe. Green had the urge to vomit blood, but it was not good for him to lose his temper in front of his subordinates. He could only tighten his handsome face and appear even colder. Young patriarch, we have another thing to report. Actually, this time, even if the old patriarch did not order us to be recalled, our assassination plan would have failed halfway. Yaoji bit her red lips. Although she was unwilling to give up, she still told Green everything that had happened on the way. Your Yenhuo Wan was killed by a female doctor in the Tsangdu guards. She summoned a subdivine beast. Green raised his eyes. Yaoji had grown up with him since young. Green had always been clear about her ability. Her strength was comparable to the first-class masters of the Nine Wan tribe. With such skills, it should be easy for her to kill those weak Celestial Fox Saintess candidates. But who knew that she would be defeated by a half-orc female doctor who had not even completely evolved her fox form? Unfortunately, Yaoji and Grey Feather did not know the specific origin of that woman. They only knew that she was from Tsangdu. In their impression, Tsangdu was just a very ordinary capital city in the Celestial Fox tribe. Could it be that there was a summoner with amazing strength hidden in Tsangdu? That half-orc female doctor must be strange. It has been a long time since a subdivine beast appeared on the continent. But rest assured, young patriarch. Next time, if Yaoji meets that woman again, I will definitely be able to avenge the humiliation, Yaoji said while gnashing her teeth. You will have this opportunity soon. Green did not take it seriously. Yaoji was a vengeful person. To be bullied by an inferior celestial fox half-orc was a disgrace to both Yaoji and the Nine Luan tribe. Young patriarch, what do you mean? Yaoji was taken aback. You too, follow me to the celestial fox tribe. Green would not allow his grandfather to fool around there. The selection of celestial fox saints. He would not let it be held so smoothly. A new month, I'm begging for a good start. After April 9th, I'll add it all up. Chapter 12-13. The battle between the old patriarch of the Nine Phoenix tribe and the young patriarch of the Nine Phoenix tribe was ongoing. On the other hand, Qian Lang did not know about the fight between Yunxing, Hua Yanluo, and the three candidates of the Saintess of Fingdu until he returned to the inn that night. You injured Elder Lu's granddaughter? Qian Lang felt as if the sky had collapsed when he heard the news. What surprised him even more was that the person who defeated Lu Shuiyu was not Hua Yanluo or Qin Yu, but the half-orc female doctor, Yunxing. That's right, Lord Qian Lang. That woman has been hiding very well. She's in big trouble this time. We're all going to die because of her. Feng Lian, she even pretended to be you and participated as a candidate of the Celestial Fox Saintess. I think she already planned this. Qin Yu added fuel to the fire in front of Qian Lang. She felt a little regretful when she thought about it afterward. Elder Lu had a great influence in the Council of Elders. She was punished by Elder Lu because she was implicated by Yunxing. She was too innocent. At that time, the three of us made the decision together. Now, she's the only one to blame. Qin Yu, you're too heartless. Although Hua Yanluo was also angry that Yunxing had obtained 2 celestial fox inheritances and became the biggest winner, she still had her basic principles. Feng Lian glanced at Yunxing and did not say anything. Sigh, it's useless to talk about it now. Ladies, especially the ladies from Yunhua Hospital, if there's nothing important, it's better for you not to walk around in Hu City. Qian Lang felt a headache coming on. This matter came too suddenly. He had to write a letter as soon as possible and tell Lord He. He would wait and see. Yunxing pursed her lips and did not care. Anyway, she did not plan to walk around Hu City since she did not find Night Fox's whereabouts. She obtained 2 celestial fox inheritances and used the devil transformation for the first time. She could go into seclusion before the celestial fox saintess selection ceremony. However, after this competition, Hua Yanluo and Qin Yu's attitude towards Yunxing had changed a lot. Especially Hua Yanluo, the way she looked at Yunxing had changed. Every time she saw Yunxing, she would carefully keep a distance from her. This woman even dared to cripple Lu Shuiyu with a single heavenly thorn. If she didn't agree with her, she would smash Lu Shuiyu to pieces. As Feng Lian was not present, she did not witness Yunxing's magic with her own eyes. As for Qin Yu, she had always been a fence-sitter. When she saw that Yunxing had obtained 2 celestial fox inheritances, she felt indignant. When Qin Yu returned to her room, she complained to the maid. Young miss, when you were not around just now, someone sent a letter. When the maid saw her, she hurriedly took out a letter. Qin Yu opened the letter. It was from Elder Lu. Great, the opportunity has come. It's a letter from Elder Lu. Qin Yu casually read the letter. When she saw the signature at the end, her eyes suddenly lit up. There was always a way out. She was still worried that she would offend Elder Lu because of Yunxing. Unexpectedly, Elder Lu said in the letter that as long as she helped him deal with Yunxing, he would help Qin Yu during the Celestial Fox Saint selection ceremony. Elder Lu also said that his granddaughter Lu Shuiyu was seriously injured and Fengdu had no hope of winning. Seeing that Qin Yu was beautiful and intelligent, he decided to let Qin Yu replace Lu Shuiyu. This letter made Lu Qinyu burst with joy. In Elder Lu's letter, he asked her to investigate Yunxing's cultivation method and her weaknesses so that she could deal with Yunxing when the time came. That woman is a magician and a dark magician. As long as Elder Lu can find a light magician, it won't be difficult to deal with her. As for her weaknesses, they should be the demonic beast beside her and the herb-gathering boy. Qin Yu rolled her eyes and immediately wrote a letter. Then she ordered the maid to send it out. Yunsheng, why can you, a half-beast celestial fox, have the inheritance of 2 celestial fox? I want you to know that wherever I am, no one can beat me. Qin Yu was complacent. Qin Yu was not the only one who received the same letter. Hua Yanluo also received one. After reading the letter, she remained silent. Young miss, this is a great opportunity. Hua Yanluo's maid knew that her young miss had never been valued by the Hua family because she was a concubine's daughter. This was a great opportunity for her young miss to turn the tables. Burn this letter and pretend you didn't see it. No one is allowed to tell anyone that Elder Lu contacted us. Hua Yanluo's words surprised her maid. Young miss, don't you plan to work with Elder Lu? I'm from Tsangdu after all. How can I work for someone from Fengdu? If I betray Tsangdu, even if I become the sacred lady, I won't be able to face my family and friends in Tsangdu. Besides, I'm the one who started this. That Yun woman just took advantage of the situation. Although Hua Yanluo had a fiery temper, she could still distinguish between right and wrong. Elder Lu was not a kind person to be able to raise a granddaughter like Lu Shuiyu. Moreover, there was still Lu Yunshuang in Fengdu. How could Elder Lu help her ascend the throne so easily? Hua Yanluo was a concubine's daughter in the Hua family. She had seen many such tricks in the Hua family. If she worked with Elder Lu, she would not even have a single bone left. Hua Yanluo was not stupid enough to do that. Elder Lu is such a sly old fox. How could he only contact me? If I'm not mistaken, that fence-sitter Qin Yu must have received this letter as well. Who knows, she might even think that this is a great opportunity. Hua Yanluo snorted and burned the letter. In Yunxing's room, baby sheep and little Yingying, who had been playing outside the whole day, were so tired that they had fallen asleep. In order not to cause too much commotion, Yunxing simply entered the exquisite beast pagoda and released her Dharma soul. After experiencing the first demon transformation, Yunxing's 6-elemental Dharma soul had become a dark Dharma soul. The energy waves of her Dharma soul had also become more intense. According to the Phantasm Ghost King, successfully changing multiple Dharma soul's attributes to a single attribute is only the first step of the demon transformation. The most crucial step of the demon transformation is to change a Dharma soul from a single attribute back to a multi-elemental Dharma soul. Next is the most crucial step. Can my Dharma soul return to its 6-elemental Dharma soul state? Yunxing chanted the incantation for the demon transformation as she conjured the hellfire of the divine lotus in her hand. The indestructible hellfire of the divine lotus enveloped Yunxing. The flames were so scorching that they could even melt purple gold. However, Yunxing felt neither pain nor itch. With the appearance of the hellfire of the divine lotus, the dark Dharma soul let out a sound like that of a trapped beast struggling. The pitch-black dark Dharma soul began to change little by little. Those 2 boxes were the 2 types of celestial fox inheritance that she had obtained from Lu Shuiyu and Hua Yanluo today. Yunxing had never heard of the legend of the 9-tailed celestial fox, but she adhered to the principle of having more skills. She was very willing to learn more about the celestial fox legacy. If Yunxing's thoughts were heard by Hua Yanluo or Qin Yu, they would definitely be furious. In other people's eyes, the celestial fox's inheritance was hard to come by, but in Yunxing's hands, it was like a cabbage. He casually opened a box with the words Fox Shadow Traceless written on it. The Fox Shadow Traceless was the most precious inheritance of the Hua family in Cangdu. According to Hua Yanluo's paper, the Fox Shadow Traceless could create a celestial fox clone. However, celestial fox clones were also divided into different levels. The worst celestial fox clone could only learn the most basic cultivation methods or magic. However, if a cultivator's comprehension was high enough, they could even create a celestial fox clone that was equal in strength to the cultivator. Equal in strength? Yunxing's eyelids twitched when she read this. Did this mean that her celestial fox clone could also learn her celestial lotus fire and even her summoning skills? Although Hua Yanluo had also learned the Fox Shadow Traceless, judging from the earlier matches, her celestial fox clone was very average. At most, it could only unleash half of Hua Yanluo's strength. If her opponent was not Qin Qi, but Lu Yunshuang or Lu Xueyu, her celestial fox clone might not be of much use. Yunsheng was already looking forward to her celestial fox clone. This time, Yunxing spent a full 3 days and 3 nights to comprehend and learn. It was not until the 4th day that she stepped out of the room. Miss Yunhua, I heard that you're in seclusion. Judging by your complexion, you must have achieved something, right? When Qian Lang saw Yunxing, he greeted her warmly. Feng Lian, on the other hand, glanced at Yunxing indifferently. You want to learn a celestial fox inheritance in 3 days. Dream on. Hua Yanluo's face was full of disbelief. Back then, when she had learned Fox Shadow, she had spent an entire year before she could control a sky fox doppelganger that she could control. I'm sorry, but I've learned it all. Yunxing's black eyes sparkled. I told you. You can't possibly. What? You've learned it all. Hua Yanluo's jaw almost dropped. This woman said that she had learned it all. You. Don't tell me you've also learned Lu Xueyu's Yama Fox Claw. Hua Yanluo could not help but gulp. Oh my god, this must be a dream. Want to try? Yunxing raised her eyebrows. Hua Yanluo was so frightened that she took a few steps back. She looked as if she wanted to stay as far away from Yunxing as possible. This inferior celestial fox half-beast human had actually learned 2 celestial fox inheritances in 3 days. This was too unbelievable, was it not? This kind of thing was rare even among purebred breeds. Seeing Hua Yanluo's expression as if she had seen a ghost, Yunxing only shrugged and went to look for little Yingying and baby. She had been in seclusion for 3 days, and those 2 little guys might have caused some trouble for her. Miss Yunxing is indeed a hidden doctor. No wonder Lord Hesue wants me to obey her. At this time, Qian Lang was already convinced by Yunxing. Qin Yu looked at them from the side, and her heart was filled with hatred as if a few cat claws were scratching it. Why could this woman obtain 2 celestial fox inheritances in one go and learn them in one go? They were both half-beast humans. Qin Yu naturally thought that it was because these 2 celestial fox inheritances were easy to learn. Even she could learn them in one go. Qin Yu was filled with hatred. That night, she wrote a letter and quietly sent it to Elder Lu. After reading the letter, Elder Lu's expression became even more unpleasant. Grandpa, when are you going to avenge me? Lu Xueyu's face was full of resentment. Her injuries had almost recovered after Elder Lu's treatment. However, her right hand was destroyed by the terrible power of dark magic. Even the most powerful witch doctor in the Celestial Fox tribe could not treat it. When she heard the news, Lu Xueyu almost went crazy. Fortunately, Elder Lu promised that he would not let go of that bastard from Cangdu, so she regained some rationality. Xueyu, that celestial fox half-beast human is not as simple as you think. I'm afraid there's a change in our plan. Do you remember how long it took you to learn the celestial fox inheritance, Yama's fox claw? Elder Lu was still holding the letter in his hand, and his face was livid. Chapter 12:15. Xueyu has been learning it for more than a year. Among all the disciples of the Hua clan, her learning speed is in the top 3. Grandfather, why are you asking this? Do you think that bastard can learn the Yama fox claw? Lu Xueyu said proudly. There was a reason why Elder Lu doted on her so much. She learned the Yama fox claw very quickly. Lu Xueyu also had another celestial fox inheritance. Having 2 celestial fox inheritances at such a young age, she was definitely in the top ranks among the young men and women of the celestial fox tribe. Before Elder Lu received Xin Yu's letter, Lu Xueyu had never thought that the bastard celestial fox could learn the inheritance. The cultivation of the Yama fox claw, in addition to comprehension, also required a large amount of beast blood and elixirs to soak one's hands. Only after many years could one achieve some success. Therefore, in Lu Xueyu's opinion, even if the bastard could learn it, it would take at least 10 years. As for that B*****, it was impossible for her to survive the selection of saintess of the heavenly fox tribe. She was not as stupid as Hua Yen Luo. She was confident. Taking out the Yama fox claw meant that she was confident that the other party could not have learned it. The Yama fox claw was not comparable to the celestial fox inheritance. According to the ancestor of the Hua clan, if the Yama fox claw was cultivated to the highest level, it could tear open the sky with its bare hands and pierce through the chest of a martial god. Of course, among the generations of celestial fox, only the ancestor who created the celestial fox inheritance could reach such a level. Even Elder Lu's Yama fox claw had not reached such a level. The bastard celestial fox you mentioned, she spent 3 days to learn the Yama fox claw. To be exact, she spent 3 days to learn the Yama fox claw and the fox's traceless shadow. Elder Lu's hand was full of fighting spirit. The letter was crushed into powder. Impossible. Lu Xueyu was speechless. That bastard, how could it be? There are only 2 possibilities for this matter. Firstly, she really did learn the 2 legacies of Celestial Fox. Secondly, she was lying. If she was lying, this matter would be easy to deal with. But if what she said was true, learning 2 Celestial Fox techniques in 3 days. If this news spreads, you won't be able to take revenge. Elder Lu knew very well that such a genius had not appeared in the Celestial Fox tribe for many years. Putting aside the Holy Maiden for marriage, it was only a few months until the next Bakra Orcs competition. The Celestial Fox tribe had been ranked last among the Bakra Orcs for 500 years. The other beast clans had publicly criticized the Celestial Fox tribe for not having the right to retain the title of Bakra Orcs. They even thought that the other beast clans in the 8 wastelands could challenge the Bakra Orcs as long as they were strong enough. Hu Qinqiu and the Elders Guild urgently needed a true Celestial Fox genius to reverse the situation. Grandfather, that bastard isn't a genius. She caused your granddaughter to become a cripple. I want revenge. Lu Xueyu was agitated. Xueyu, grandfather loves you the most. Don't worry, grandfather won't let that woman have an easy time. I've already asked around. That woman hasn't left her house these few days, so it's hard to do anything to her. But she still has a herbalist and a weak magical beast under her. Grandfather has already ordered people to capture them. When the time comes, that bastard will be at our mercy. Elder Lu sneered. This was Hu City. No one could live so freely after offending the Lu clan. Under Elder Lu's command, a few celestial fox soldiers threw a pink magical beast and a small celestial fox half-beast man in. Bo Bo, you bastards! Bo Bo sheep cursed loudly. There were a few pieces of black paper stuck on its body. Little Ing had already been knocked unconscious and tied up. This sheep has some tricks up its sleeves. It said that even a magic prison can't hold it. I specially used a shaman talisman made by the great witch doctor to trap it. Elder Lu kicked Bo Bo sheep. This sheep had cost him a lot of effort. It was said that it had killed 2 celestial fox soldiers on the spot and scratched a celestial fox general's face. It was clearly a sheep, but it could speak human language. Who knew what kind of mutated magical beast it was? If it wasn't for the fact that it still had some use, Elder Lu really wanted to hand it over to the great witch doctor and have him dissect it to see what kind of monster it was. With them in our hands, that slut will definitely die at my hands. I'll slice off her flesh piece by piece and crush her bones piece by piece. I'll make her die an incomparably miserable death, said Lu Shuiyu hatefully. No, Shuiyu, Grandpa has his own arrangements for this matter. That half-beast bastard can't die for the time being. Elder Lu's face was full of deep meaning. Bo Bo sheep looked at Elder Lu's appearance from the side and was extremely anxious. But no matter how hard it tried, it couldn't break through the paper talisman on its body. Dear master, you must not be fooled. Bo Bo sheep silently said in its heart. Yunxing waited in the inn until the lanterns were lit, but Bo Bo sheep and Little Ing still didn't come back. She faintly felt that something was wrong. Could it be that something had happened while she was in seclusion? Yunxing tried to contact Bo Bo sheep, but she couldn't feel any aura of Bo Bo sheep. Only then did Yunxing become anxious. Bo Bo sheep was Yunxing's life contract beast. Logically speaking, as long as Bo Bo sheep was still in the Ba Huang continent, Yunxing should be able to feel its aura. A similar situation had never happened before. Yunxing could only look for Qian Lang. Qian Lang immediately ordered people to go out and search. Until the next morning, there was still no news of Bo Bo sheep and Little Ing. Yunxing understood that something must have happened to Bo Bo and Little Ing. Just as she had expected, around noon, someone delivered a letter. The letter was sent by Elder Lu. It said that Bo Bo sheep and Little Ing were in his hands. If Yunxing wanted to save them, she had to go to Elder Lu's residence alone in the afternoon. After Qian Lang and the others learned of this, they hoped to accompany Yunxing. No, this matter is a personal grudge between me and Elder Lu. It shouldn't involve Tsangdu and Fingdu. It's enough for me to go alone. Although he was still very worried about Yunxing's safety, when he thought of the strength that Yunxing had shown earlier, Qian Lang also knew that he wouldn't be of much help. As promised, Yunxing went to Elder Lu's residence alone. Bo Bo, as soon as Yunxing entered Elder Lu's residence, she saw Bo Bo sheep tied up like a dumpling. There were also some black talismans on its body. It was hung outside Elder Lu's residence. As for Little Ing, she was not present. Chapter 12:16. It was noon and the sun was high up in the sky. The pitiful baby sheep's wings were tied and it was hanging upside down outside Elder Lu's residence. Its wings drooped and there was a rag stuffed in its mouth. It looked miserable. When it saw its master, tears flowed out of its black beady eyes like a waterfall. Elder Lu and Lu Shuiyu stood stiffly at the side. There were several deep scars on Elder Lu's face. The grandfather-granddaughter pair had kidnapped baby sheep and Little Ing. Logically speaking, they should be very smug. However, Yunxing noticed that the two of them looked emaciated and had heavy dark circles under their eyes. When the grandfather and granddaughter saw that Yunxing had really come alone, their expressions were very different. Elder Lu narrowed his eyes and his expression was unreadable. He secretly sized up Yunxing. Lu Shuiyu, on the other hand, was so angry that the roots of her teeth were sore and she almost chewed them to pieces. When Yunxing saw that baby sheep was bullied to this extent, the anger in her heart surged. Elder Lu, I'm here. Let go of my demonic beast and herb gatherer first. I can let it go, but you have to promise that this damned thing will shut up. At the mention of baby sheep, the veins on Elder Lu's temples throbbed. Elder Lu was a purebred celestial fox and was also from the 8 Wastelands continent. He had encountered all kinds of demonic beasts on the continent. Before he met the popping sheep, he had always thought that the large-sized wizard beasts that roamed the wilderness were the most troublesome to deal with. Who would have thought that after capturing this magical beast, he would realize that his previous view was completely wrong? Last night, after Elder Lu had captured the sheep and the herb-gathering boy, he had planned to interrogate the popping sheep for more information about Yunxing. After all, Qin Yu did not know much about Yunxing's background. Elder Lu had to first confirm the relationship between Yunxing and Tsang Du, who knew that after this damn thing was captured, although its body was restrained with a witchcraft talisman, it howled and screamed for the entire night. It was already polite to describe that voice as demonic and brainwashing. That terrifying sound startled everyone in Elder Lu's residence. The younger ones had nightmares, while the older ones couldn't sleep. For the entire night, no one in Elder Lu's residence slept a wink, from humans to chickens and dogs. This was only one night. If it were to continue for another 10 days to half a month, the Lu residence would really be in chaos. Furthermore, this damned thing was shockingly strong. Although it wasn't easy for it to move, whenever someone approached it, it would spit out a bunch of profanities. It wasn't until dawn that Elder Lu and a few celestial fox soldiers stopped the sheep's mouth, giving them some peace and quiet. Seeing Elder Lu and Lu Shuiyu's ugly expressions, Yunxing, who was well aware of Elder Lu's and Lu Shuiyu's temperament, twitched her mouth and resisted the urge to burst into laughter. Bo Bo, I'm here. No one will bully you anymore. Don't cry. Yunxing nodded at the sheep. Only then did Elder Lu remove the rag on Bo Bo's mouth with a look of lingering fear. Ing, dear master. This old turtle and his granddaughter kidnapped Bo and little Ing. They even hid little Ing. Although Bo could speak, those strange talismans on its body hadn't been removed. It still couldn't fly normally and could only be held in Elder Lu's hands. It flapped its wings continuously and cursed this old turtle 1,000 times in its heart. Yunxing frowned. The meaning of Elder Lu's threat was already very obvious. They deliberately hid little Ing so that Yunxing would have some misgivings. Elder Lu, let them go. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Yunxing was secretly annoyed. She was too anxious for success. These days, she only cared about learning the celestial fox inheritance and didn't consider the safety of Bo and Ing. Let her go. That's too easy for you. You caused Shuiyu to lose one of her hands. This old man should kill you to avenge her. Elder Lu was angry. However, this old man isn't someone who haggles over every detail. Let's both take a step back. As long as you agree to represent Fingdu in this Saintess selection ceremony and successfully become the Saintess, this old man can let this person and beast go. Elder Lu had previously thought that Yunxing was Tsangdu's Saintess candidate. It wasn't until he colluded with Qin Yu that he learned from Qin Yu that Yunxing wasn't the Saintess candidate. Her true identity was just a female doctor sent by Canghai to accompany the army. Elder Lu was very cunning. His granddaughter, Lu Shuiyu, had lost one of her hands and could no longer participate in the Saintess selection ceremony. For a while, Elder Lu couldn't find a suitable candidate to replace Lu Shuiyu. Elder Lu had an idea. Why not let Yunxing take Lu Shuiyu's place and participate in the Saintess selection ceremony? Grandfather, you're letting her take my place in the Saintess selection ceremony? Lu Shuiyu almost fainted when she heard this. Had her grandfather gone senile? How was this avenging her? This bitch was going to take her place in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. Shuiyu, grandfather has his own plans. Now that you're injured, one of the 3 Saintess candidates in Fengdu is missing. For the sake of the big picture, someone must take your place. Elder Lu didn't want to do this either. However, as an elder from Fengdu, he had to consider the interests of Fengdu's bloodline. Although Lu Yunshuang from the Ice Fox bloodline was one of the extremely rare Celestial Fox Saintess candidates in Fengdu, that girl surnamed Lu had a cold temperament and was indifferent to his orders. Even if such a person became the Celestial Fox Saintess in the future, Elder Lu wouldn't benefit much. Therefore, he would rather choose someone he could control. He had something on this female doctor in front of him, so he wasn't worried that she wouldn't compromise. I'll never agree to let her take my place. Lu Shuiyu stomped her feet angrily and ran out. Elder Lu sighed. Shuiyu's temper had been spoiled. Yunsheng was also confused. She couldn't take Lu Shuiyu's place in the Saintess selection ceremony because she had no interest in becoming the Celestial Fox Saintess. Secondly, if the other members of the Celestial Fox tribe saw her face, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. She was only here to send the ashes. How did she cause so much trouble? However, Yunxing also understood that she was now deeply involved. It wouldn't be easy to get rid of it. However, if Elder Lu thought that he could control her at will, then he was gravely mistaken. Elder Lu, I hate it when people threaten me. I'm not interested, and I won't participate in the selection of the Saintess of the Heavenly Fox tribe on behalf of Fengdu. Yunxing flatly rejected Elder Lu. Don't you care about the life and death of your magical beast and that little girl? Elder Lu smiled maliciously, but his smile didn't last long. Yunxing's figure suddenly flashed. Like a bolt of lightning, she swept in front of him. Chapter 12:17. It wasn't that he hadn't fought before, but he had never seen anyone fight with a hostage in hand. Were hostages worthless these days? Although Elder Lu was shocked, the older the ginger, the spicier it was. Violent fighting energy exploded from his body. Yama Fox Claw. Elder Lu roared and used the Lu family's family heirloom, the Celestial Fox technique. Although they were both Yama Fox Claws, Lu Shuiyu's and Elder Lu's were completely different. Elder Lu's hand swayed and the fox claw was like an old tree with its roots. The sharp claws tore through the air and stabbed toward Yunxing. His and Yunxing's figures intertwined and quickly separated. The moment the two of them intertwined, Elder Lu saw a silver light flash before his eyes. Boom! Powerful energy waves collided and the two figures retreated more than 10 steps at the same time. Elder Lu originally thought that victory was in his grasp. However, when he collided with Yunxing, he was surprised to discover that the kissing sheep that he had been holding in his hand had disappeared. On the other side, Yunxing's right hand had also turned into a fox claw that was also filled with powerful energy waves. However, compared to Elder Lu's ferocious blood-stained fox claw, Yunxing's Yama fox claw was different. Yunxing's fox claw was sparkling and translucent like a jade carving. As she hadn't cultivated for a long time, Yunxing's Yama fox claw was slightly weaker than Elder Lu's. At this moment, a wound could be faintly seen on the jade-like sharp fox claw, and blood was seeping out. Although Yunxing was slightly weaker in terms of strength, she had the upper hand in terms of speed. Just now, when she took Elder Lu's claw head-on, she cleverly snatched the baby sheep back. His granddaughter, Lu Shuiyu, had cultivated for many years before she could master the Llama Fox Claw. This beast man, at this moment, there was nothing but shock in Elder Lu's heart. She was actually faster than him. Elder Lu could also tell at a glance that Yunsheng was using the Llama Fox Claw. She had really learned Llama's Fox Claw. Elder Lu was incomparably shocked. It seemed that what Qin Yu had said wasn't a lie. This little bastard from Blue Dew had really learned the Llama Fox Claw in a short 3 days. He would never have thought that there was a reason why Yunsheng could learn Llama's Demon's Claw so quickly. It was because Yunsheng had once practiced Trillium Hand. The Trillium Hand left behind by the Yen clan's ancestor was meant to increase the hand speed of the Yen clan's descendants during acupuncture and surgery. However, when Yunsheng practiced the Llama Fox Claw, she realized that as long as she combined the Trillium Hand and the Llama Fox Claw, she could achieve an unexpected effect. This was also why she was able to master the Llama Fox Claw so quickly. Furthermore, in terms of hand speed, she was even faster than Elder Lu. It seemed that she had only learned for 3 days, but in fact, she had already learned Trillium Hand for decades in Yunsheng's 2 lives. Hence, in terms of hand speed, there were not many people in the boundless world and the 8 wastelands who could match up to Yunsheng. After Yunsheng snatched Bobo back, she glanced at Bobo worriedly. Seeing that it wasn't seriously injured, she heaved a sigh of relief. Little bastard, you do have some skills. So what if you have saved your fiend? Don't forget that I still have your herb gatherer boy in my hands. Elder Lu stabilized himself after his hostage was snatched away and said calmly. Oh. Are you sure that he is still in your hands? Yunsheng brushed her hair with a look of disdain. Could it be? Elder Lu was shocked. Could it be? Don't worry. I said that I would come alone, so I will definitely come alone. I didn't bring any helpers from Blue Dew, Yunsheng's black eyes flashed. So what if you brought helpers? To tell you the truth, that herb gatherer boy is locked in the secret chamber. Without my presence, no one can save him. Elder Lu sneered. Behind him, there was the sound of bodies falling to the ground. A few guards of the Lu residence were thrown out. Lu Shuiyu, who had run out earlier, was now in the hands of Yunsheng with a pale face. What? You? Elder Lu's smile froze on his face. He looked at Yunsheng in front of him, then looked behind him at the masked woman who looked exactly like Yunsheng. Grandfather, that is Celestial Fox's clone. This bastard must have learned the Hua family's traceless fox. Lu Shuiyu ran out in a fit of anger just now. However, just as she ran out of the courtyard, she felt her vision darken. A ghostly figure landed in front of her. That figure was none other than Yunsheng. Elder Lu and Lu Shuiyu then realized that on the one hand, Yunsheng had come to meet Elder Lu. On the other hand, she had used another, Yunsheng, to hide in the Lu residence to find Yingying's whereabouts. Yunsheng had come to the Lu residence alone, so she had been on guard against Elder Lu's tricks. However, her clone, Yunsheng, searched the Lu residence but couldn't find little Yingying. At this moment, Lu Shuiyu ran out and caught her in the act. Elder Lu, now we both have hostages in our hands. However, in your eyes, Lu Shuiyu's life is much more valuable than my herb gatherer boy. Yunsheng stood aside with a smile. Elder Lu trembled with anger. He had been in the Celestial Fox tribal nation for so many years, but no one had ever dared to treat him like this. This damned Celestial Fox bastard. However, no matter how much he hated her, Elder Lu understood that now that Yunsheng had mastered the Llama Fox's claw and Fox's traceless shadow, as well as Celestial Fox's clone, if they really fought, he wasn't confident that he could rescue his granddaughter unscathed. Elder Lu had no choice but to turn around and go to the secret room to bring little Yingying out. Master. Little Yingying was scared out of her wits, locked in the secret room. However, in order not to worry Yunxing, she could only hold back the tears in her eyes. I've brought her here. I'll count to 3, and we'll release her at the same time. Elder Lu's face was ashen. He picked up little Yingying. On the other side, Celestial Fox's clone Yunxing also picked up Lu Shuiyu. Both sides walked forward. Yunxing was vigilant. Fortunately, Elder Lu didn't play any tricks. Elder Lu, Yunxing, will definitely remember what happened today. Yunxing narrowed her eyes. With one hand holding little Yingying and the other holding little Yingying, she was about to retreat. However, at this moment, there was a loud bang outside the Lu mansion. A huge magic array enveloped the Lu mansion. Ha ha ha, little bastard, do you really think that the Lu mansion is a place where you can come and go as you please? Today, either you agree to my conditions, or you die here. Elder Lu said eerily. He had already set up an inescapable net outside the mansion. If I want to leave, no one can stop me. After Yunxing finished speaking, waves of terrifying hellfire of the Divine Lotus appeared around her. As the hellfire of the Divine Lotus spoke, the magic waves in the magic array were instantly burned into holes. TSK, you have a lot of tricks. Don't you care about the life and death of the person and beast beside you? After Elder Lu finished speaking, little Yingying and little Yingying both let out painful cries. Chapter 12:18. Baby Sheep and little Yingying's condition didn't seem right. When she rescued them earlier, Yunxing had already noticed that they weren't injured, but in addition to the ropes, there were also black talisman-like things on their bodies. Yunxing didn't pay attention to them earlier, but just now, those black talisman-like things suddenly drilled into Baby Sheep and little Yingying's bodies. Baby Sheep and little Yingying felt a piercing pain in their bodies, and little Yingying couldn't help but cry. Baby Sheep's face turned red, and bean-sized beads of sweat soaked its soft wool. Yunxing hurriedly checked on the two, but the woman and the beast didn't seem to be poisoned or injured. Even with the Shenong eye, Yunxing could only sense that there was a mysterious power in their bodies that was constantly moving. It was also this force that made the woman and the beast feel as if they were being cut into pieces. Little Yingying was a human, and this strange force affected her. Yunxing could understand. But why would Baby Sheep have such a big reaction? Baby Sheep was a world deity. Although it hadn't fully grown, it had always been alive and kicking, except for when it was hatched, when it was seriously injured. Ordinary combat skills and magic were nothing to Baby Sheep. But the strange force formed by the mysterious black talisman was like Baby Sheep's nemesis, causing Baby Sheep so much pain that it wanted to die. Little Yingying's body was weak, and it didn't take long for it to pass out. Don't think that you're the only one with a trump card. You saved them, but I've cast a witchcraft talisman on them. This kind of talisman can only be found in the Celestial Fox clan, and no one in the world can remove it. Elder Lu laughed. Baby Sheep only felt that the strange force in its body was tearing at its organs, and its body was about to explode. Enough. Yunxing spat out 2 words when she saw Baby Sheep and little Yingying in pain. Ha ha ha, if you agree, I have an antidote here. Take it every 10 days, and it will ensure the woman and the beast's safety. However, if they did not comply, the pain would flare up once a day. On the 10th day, the monstrous power would burst out of their bodies, causing them to explode and die. I know you're a female doctor, but this antidote is a witchcraft. It's impossible for you to cure it, Elder Lu said proudly. At this point, he did not believe that Yunxing would not compromise. Dear Master, Bo is useless. Bo Sheep was dying. This was the first time he hated someone so much. It was a world deity beast, but it was always a burden to its master. Hey, it's not your fault. Yunsheng looked up with a burning gaze. Suddenly, the divine lotus karmic fire in her body exploded like a flash flood. Bang bang bang, countless azure heavenly thorns rained down from the sky. The enraged Yunsheng instantly tore apart the entire magic array in front of Elder Lu and Lu Xueyu. The entire Lu residence was devastated, as if it had experienced a thunderstorm. I will join Plentiful City and participate in the Saintess selection on behalf of Lu Xueyu. After I succeed, give me the antidote immediately. Otherwise, I'll kill everyone in the Lu residence. Little Ying and Bo Bo were like family to Yunsheng. This time, Elder Lu had completely violated Yunsheng's bottom line. If it were not for the mysterious black talisman that Yunsheng could not break, she would not have agreed to Elder Lu's request so sullenly. Seeing that Yunsheng had agreed, Elder Lu threw her 2 bottles of medicine. He would give the rest of the medicine to Yunsheng in batches after 10 days. After receiving the antidote, Yunsheng left with Bo Bo sheep and Little Ying, leaving the Lu residence in ruins. Although he successfully threatened Yunsheng to agree to his conditions, Elder Lu was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. This woman's strength was really terrifying. Thinking about it later, Elder Lu was still a little scared. Grandpa, are you really letting her participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection? But her strength, what if she doesn't listen to us? Lu Xueyu was also scared out of her wits. Only now did she realize how lucky she was that only one of her hands was destroyed that day. That Celestial Fox bitch, the woman surnamed Yun, was many times stronger than the other Saintess candidates in Songdu. Even if she was just an inferior half-beast, it would not hinder her from being selected in the end. No wonder Grandpa let her represent Plentiful City first. At this time, Elder Lu was also full of doubts. It was said that Songdu's military counselor, He Sui, was unparalleled in wisdom. How could he give up such an outstanding candidate and let someone else represent Songdu? Xueyu, that was just a temporary measure. That witchcraft amulet is not an ordinary thing. In fact, even I only asked for 3 from the Great Witch Doctor. As for whether the witchcraft amulet has an antidote, only the Great Witch Doctor knows. Elder Lu snorted. You! This woman was a scourge after all. If she really did not listen in the end, he would ask the Great Witch Doctor to personally take action. He did not believe that the Great Witch Doctor, who had mysterious powers, would not be able to subdue a lowly half-beast. As soon as Yunsheng walked out of the Lu mansion, she first checked the 2 bottles of medicine that Elder Lu had given her. She found that the 2 bottles of medicine were colorless and odorless. She could not tell what they were made of. However, after drinking the medicine, Popping Sheep and Little Ying's condition did improve a lot. Just as Yunsheng was about to ask Popping Sheep and Little Ying about the details, her ears twitched slightly. Come out. Yunsheng shielded Little Ying and Popping Sheep in front of her and suddenly spoke. A person walked out from behind her. When she saw the person, Yunsheng was stunned. This person was Lu Yunchuang of the Ice Fox clan, whom Yunsheng had met once at the inn earlier. It's you. Why are you following me? Yunsheng had sharp senses and had long noticed that someone was following her. She had thought that it was Elder Lu's subordinate, but she did not expect that the person following her would be Lu Yunchuang. You don't have to try. That antidote was made by the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. No one else in the world can make it except for her, Lu Yunchuang said calmly. She was no different from a few days ago. Her face was still as cold as ice. The moment she got close to her, the temperature around her dropped by a few degrees. Why are you telling me this? Yunsheng was on guard. Lu Yunchuang was one of the representatives of Feng City. Yunsheng did not think that she would be so kind. I'm not your enemy. I can help you become the Saintess of Celestial Fox. Lu Yunchuang's words stunned Yunsheng. You're also one of the candidates for the position of saintess. Becoming the saintess should be your wish, right? Yunxing did not believe Lu Yunchuang. Not everyone wants to become the saintess of Celestial Fox. Everyone thinks that being the saintess of Celestial Fox is an honor, but they don't know that the status of the saintess of Celestial Fox is also a burden. The previous saintess of Celestial Fox was the best example, Lu Yunchuang said calmly. Chapter 12:19. You knew the previous Celestial Fox saintess. Yunxing could not help but take a few more glances at Lu Yunchuang when she heard this. Lu Yunchuang of the Ice Fox tribe was just like her name. She was cold and indifferent to everyone at any time. I didn't know her, but I've heard some things about her. If she wasn't the Celestial Fox saintess, she would probably be much happier. Indeed, if she was human or born on another continent, everything would be different. Yunxing could not help but sigh. She could not help but think about how she and Huxing's mothers were both hatched from the same beast blood cloud. If their mothers had been swapped back then, would her and Huxing's fates have been changed as well? However, there were never too many ifs in this world. I don't want to be some saintess. My only condition for helping you is that after everything is done, you help me dissolve my ice fox physique. Lu Yunchuang glanced at Yunxing a few times. She did not know why Yunxing would suddenly become so emotional. Lu Yunchuang also knew that Elder Lu and his granddaughter had captured Popping Sheep and Little Yingying. She had thought that Yunxing would succumb to Elder Lu's pressure. Who would have thought that the Lu mansion would be razed to the ground by the furious Yunxing? Lu Yunchuang could not help but look at Yunxing in a new light. In the entire Celestial Fox tribal nation, not many people had the guts that Yunxing did. This also confirmed Lu Yunchuang's earlier guess. That day, when Lu Yunchuang saw Yunxing use only a few needles to remove the ice from Qin Yu's body, she wanted to find an opportunity to ask Yunxing if she could help her. If Yunxing could help her, she could help Yunxing defeat the other competitors in the upcoming Celestial Fox Saintess election and come out on top. To Lu Yunchuang, whether or not the capital was plentiful did not matter at all. The Ice Fox clan had always been wandering around the periphery of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. For so many years, the Celestial Fox tribal nation had never cared about the life and death of the Ice Fox clan. This time, Lu Yunchuang was representing Fengdu in the competition because Elder Lu had done her a favor before. However, no matter how much money he had, it was nothing compared to improving the Ice Fox's physique. Improve your physique. Are you talking about improving your body's constitution that freezes when you touch others? Yunxing had cured countless diseases, but she had never heard of a body that could be cured. Moreover, the Ice Fox physique was Lu Yunchuang's trump card. Why would she want to change her physique? I have a sweetheart. He's a human. A rare blush appeared on Lu Yunchuang's face. This shyness made her, who was originally as cold as snow, gain a strange kind of beauty. Lu Yunchuang lived in the Ice Fox tribe's tribe, which was adjacent to the human tribe. She had lived with the human tribe since she was young. There, she met a human ancient martial art practitioner. The two of them loved each other, but due to Lu Yunchuang's constitution, she could not be with that man. That man had been frostbitten by Lu Yunchuang a few times. It was also because of this that his family and friends objected to him being with Lu Yunchuang. We don't even have intimate actions between lovers. Although he said he didn't mind, I do. I heard that the Great Witch Doctor in the Celestial Fox tribe has amazing medical skills, so I want her to help me change my physique. Lu Yunchuang sighed. She did not want her lover to suffer again. She had accepted Elder Lu's invitation to represent Fengdu in the competition because Elder Lu had a close relationship with the Great Witch Doctor. Through Elder Lu's recommendation, she met the Great Witch Doctor. However, after examining Lu Yunchuang's constitution, the Great Witch Doctor told her regretfully that even she could not change the constitution of the Ice Fox tribe. When Lu Yunchuang found out, she was very upset. She had planned to return to the Ice Fox tribe and break up with her lover after participating in the Celestial Fox Saintess election. However, at this moment, Yunxing appeared. Although she did not know where Yunxing came from, her miraculous acupuncture technique gave Lu Yunchuang a glimmer of hope in her despair. I see. My acupuncture technique can solve many difficult and complicated diseases, but I have never tried to improve one's constitution. Yunxing could not guarantee that she would be able to help Lu Yunchuang. However, Lu Yunchuang's deep affection for that human male reminded Yunxing of her relationship with Night Fox. Speaking of which, the situation was somewhat similar to her relationship with Night Fox. Night Fox and she could not be together because of the ancient curse of the Kirin clan, while Lu Yunchuang could not be together because of her constitution. Just give it a try. If you fail, I won't blame you. When Lu Yunchuang saw that Yunxing had agreed, her face lit up. By the way, you mentioned the Great Witch Doctor just now. Are you sure that the Great Witch Doctor was the one who put those black talismans on Baby Goat and Yingying? Yunxing had heard about it since she came to the 8 Wilderness Continent. On the 8 Wilderness Continent, healers only treated the most basic injuries. Here, there were only regular healers and witch doctors. The status of witch doctors was much higher than that of regular healers. In particular, the witch doctors in the Celestial Fox tribe had the same status as the chief and saintess. In the Celestial Fox tribe, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, the Great Witch Doctor, the Council of Elders, and the Celestial Fox Saintess were once known as the 4 poles of the Celestial Fox tribe. However, because the previous Celestial Fox Saintess, Hu Xing, could not practice magic, the status of the Celestial Fox Saintess had plummeted in the Celestial Fox tribe. The chief, the Great Witch Doctor, and the Council of Elders were now the 3 pillars of power in the Celestial Fox tribe. Lu Yunchuang had seen the black talismans by chance when she was diagnosed by the Great Witch Doctor last time. That was how she recognized them at first glance. I'm sure that the black talismans are the Great Witch Doctor's unique witchcraft. As for these potions, they must have been concocted by the Great Witch Doctor. However, you should give up on the idea of snatching the antidote from the Great Witch Doctor. The Great Witch Doctor is the most unfathomable person in the entire Celestial Fox tribe. Some say that her strength is comparable to the first priest of the Beast God altar. Lu Yunchuang was very smart. She glanced at Yunxing and reminded her. Although she had only met Yunxing once, Lu Yunchuang could tell that she was a person who valued friendship. Yunxing would not listen to her advice. It was also because of the Great Witch Doctor's existence that the Celestial Fox tribe, the weakest of the 3, was able to retain a seat among the Bakra orcs. It was said that the previous Celestial Fox Saintess had been promoted to the position of the Celestial Fox Saintess because of the Great Witch Doctor's recommendation. From this, one could see how high the Great Witch Doctor's status in the Celestial Fox tribe was. No matter what, I'll definitely use this Celestial Fox Saintess opportunity to meet the Great Witch Doctor. Yunxing glanced at Popping Sheep and Little Yingying, her brows tightly knitted together. Chapter 12:20. After parting ways with Lu Yunchuang, Yunxing returned to the inn. You want to represent Fingdu in the Saintess election. When they found out that Yunxing was going to represent Fingdu in the Saintess election, everyone in Sangdu looked at her with displeasure. Although they were both capitals of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, there was still competition between them. Especially in recent years, Fingdu had always relied on its status as the wealthiest capital city to seize a lot of resources. The previous competition between Sangdu and Fingdu had caused the 2 capitals to be on bad terms. Yunxing was representing Fingdu in the competition at this juncture. In the eyes of everyone in Sangdu, it was undoubtedly a last-minute betrayal. I told you, she's not a good person. The people of Fengdu must have given her some benefits. That's why she's willing to fight for them. Qin Yu began to slander Yunxing. Qin Yu thought that after she told Elder Lu about popping sheep and Yingying's whereabouts, he would seize the opportunity to kill Yunxing after capturing them. She did not know if Elder Lu's brain had been kicked by a donkey. Not only did he not kill this lowly creature, but he also allowed her to represent Fengdu in the competition. How was this a reward? It was a good thing that fell from the sky. Qin Yu, you know best whether it was me who switched sides or you who did something behind the scenes. Yunxing glanced coldly at Qin Yu. Yunxing had been wondering why Elder Lu had his eyes on popping sheep and little Yingying. Lu Yunchuang had warned Yunxing to be careful of Qin Yu. Yunxing was representing Fengdu in the competition. The others, including Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo, did not say anything. Only Qin Yu looked indignant. Don't slander me. Who do you think you are? You just won a competition. Let me tell you, a lowly half-beast human like you won't even make it past the first round, let alone enter the official competition later on. Qin Yu's expression changed slightly. She was afraid that others would see through her collusion with Elder Lu. That's right. This time, the fence-sitter is right. Yun, no matter what your reason is, you're representing Fengdu in the competition. From today onwards, we are competitors. Seeing that we are on the same team, I advise you not to go and make a fool of yourself, lest you get eliminated in the first round. Hua Yanluo also stepped forward. The first round. Due to her closed-door training, Yunxing was very uninformed. In addition, she had no intention of participating in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, so she was completely unaware of the details of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. He didn't even know the details of the Saintess selection for Celestial Fox. Yunxing had even missed the registration for the Celestial Fox Saintess selection. However, Elder Lu had already used some means to change Lu Shuiyu's name to Yunxing. The first round of the competition is about bloodline. Speaking of which, do you know which branch of Celestial Fox you belong to? Feng Lian asked indifferently. Yunxing was stumped by the question. Since it was the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, the most basic requirement was naturally to have Celestial Fox bloodline. There were many clans in the Celestial Fox tribe. Then what bloodline do you belong to? Yunxing had never heard Hu Jiuxing talk about bloodlines. Or rather, Hu Jiuxing, who had been hatched from the beast blood cloud, did not know about bloodlines. The Celestial Fox tribe divides the bloodline into grades from 1 to 6. Naturally, one tail is the lowest bloodline. The higher the bloodline goes, the higher the bloodline of the Celestial Fox bloodline. For example, the Ice Fox clan that Lu Yunchuang belongs to the five-tailed bloodline. The Lu family that Lu Shuiyu belongs to also has 5 tails. The Hua family that Hua Yanluo belongs to the 4-tailed bloodline. Qin Yu and I belong to the 3-tailed bloodline. Feng Lian pointed at the few people present. Although the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony this time was the most lenient in history, there was a basic requirement for all the candidates, be they purebred or half-beast humans, to meet the requirements of a 3-tailed Celestial Fox. Otherwise, there was no way to pass the first round and they would be eliminated immediately. Did you hear that? The Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony is not for people like you to participate. Lowly half-beast humans like you who can't even hide your fox ears and tails can only have 2 tails at most. No matter how strong you are, you'll still be eliminated in the first round, Qin Yu mocked. Whether I'll be eliminated or not, we'll know tomorrow. Yunxing could not be bothered to argue with Qin Yu. She took baby sheep and little Yingying back to her room to rest. After taking the potion, baby sheep and little Yingying returned to normal. However, Yunxing knew that the mysterious black talisman in their bodies would act up again after 10 days. Elder Lu, great witch doctor, you made baby sheep and little Yingying suffer so much. She will not let you off. Yunxing's black eyes darkened. She sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. The next morning, Yunxing took baby sheep and little Yingying to Hu City Square. The first round of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony would be held here in a few days. When Yunxing arrived at the square, it was already crowded with people. The Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was the most eye-catching competition for the people of the Celestial Fox tribal country, except for the Bahuang clan competition. After all, not everyone had the chance to see the Saintess. This time, those who came to participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony were all stunning beauties selected from the 10 major capital cities of the Celestial Fox tribal country. Everyone loved beauty, so there were many people participating in the selection this time. In order to maintain order, there were also a large number of Celestial Fox soldiers in the square. The other two Celestial Fox Saintess candidates in Fengdu, Lu Yunchuang and Chen Qi, had been waiting there for a long time. I really don't know what Elder Lu is thinking. He actually let you replace big sister Xueyu, Chen Qi said angrily when she saw Yunxing. The last time Yunxing defeated Lu Xueyu in front of everyone at the inn, Chen Qi still hated her for it. Unlike Lu Yunchuang, Chen Qi and Lu Xueyu were good friends when they were in Fengdu. This time, Yunxing had crippled Lu Xueyu's hand and even profited from the disaster by replacing Lu Xueyu. Chen Qi could not swallow this resentment. Fortunately, Chen Qi also thought that a lowly half-beast human like Yunxing would not even pass the first round. Oh, look at the Saintess candidate in Fengdu. She still retains her half-beast form. Isn't that so? Hasn't Fengdu always boasted that only purebreds come from Fengdu? What high status and pure bloodline. She hasn't even taken off her fox form. Don't tell me she's a first or second-class celestial fox. There was a burst of chatter in his ears. In the square, the Saintess candidates representing the other capital cities also looked over. Plentiful City was the wealthiest city, and the 3 Saintess candidates were all purebred. Earlier, Lu Xueyu and Chen Qi had been bossy and domineering. Before the competition began, they had already offended a lot of people and attracted a lot of hatred. Chapter 12:21. Lu Xueyu had wantonly attacked the half-beast humans from other capital cities and even the purebred celestial fox. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, her right hand would be crippled? Lu Xueyu, who had always been considered the most likely candidate to be the Saintess, was forced to withdraw halfway through the selection, leaving Feng City one less person. In the end, they could only find a last-minute half-beast human to replace her. When the news spread, people from other capital cities were waiting to laugh at Feng City. Chen Qi, who was prideful, felt even more humiliated when everyone stared at her with ridicule. It's all your fault. A person like you shouldn't even be here. Chen Qi wanted nothing more than to chase Yunxing away, but she did not dare to disobey Elder Lu's orders. She had wanted to join forces with Lu Yunchuang to ostracize Yunxing, but she did not expect Lu Yunchuang to ignore her suggestion. Stop arguing. The test has begun. Lu Yunchuang glanced at the square. A celestial fox elder had already appeared in the middle of the square. The first round of the test, the bloodline test, had officially begun. The one presiding over the first round of the test was Elder Jiu of the Council of Elders. He was a middle-aged man with no facial hair. Silence. The bloodline test will begin immediately. Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from the 10 capital cities, please form a group and participate in the test separately. Elder Jiu coughed a few times when he heard the commotion in the square. His dignified voice immediately spread throughout the square. Yunxing noticed that Hu City's 3 celestial fox saintess candidates were standing at the front. Hu Linglong, whom she had met a few days ago, was among the 3 of them. She was dressed in a bright red sorcerer's robe, like a fireball. She stood out in the crowd and attracted everyone's attention. Hu Linglong walked forward and greeted the 9th elder in a familiar manner. A crystal ball and a dagger were placed in front of Elder Zhou. The dagger looked like it was carved out of jade, and the crystal ball looked no different from an ordinary crystal ball for testing magic. Hu Linglong picked up the dagger and made a cut on her hand. There was no trace of blood on the dagger. Hu Linglong dripped the blood on her finger onto the crystal ball. The originally transparent crystal ball changed the moment Hu Linglong's blood dripped onto it. In the transparent crystal ball, a fiery red fox appeared. The fox's posture was graceful, giving off the same feeling as Hu Linglong. But the most eye-catching thing was the fiery red fox's 5 fluffy fox tails that resembled fire. 5-tailed, Hu Linglong really is a 5-tailed celestial fox. Everyone began to discuss. As the daughter of Hu Qi Qiansui, Hu Linglong and the patriarch Hu Qiansui were of the same origin. The fact that she was a 5-tailed celestial fox was also within everyone's expectations. Soon, the 5-tailed fox in the crystal ball disappeared. The 5-tailed celestial fox was already a very high-level existence among all celestial fox bloodlines. Hu Linglong walked down like a proud peacock. After Hu Linglong's test, the other celestial fox saintess candidates looked at her with envy and jealousy. Everyone knew that Hu Linglong was the most promising candidate among the celestial fox saintess candidates this time. There were even people who said that this saintess selection ceremony was just a formality. No matter the result, Hu Linglong would become the saintess. While the second saintess went up to take the test, Yunxing asked Lu Yunchuang in a low voice. Are there other celestial foxes above 6-tailed? For example, 7-tailed and 8-tailed. The more tails you have, the more powerful you are. Lu Yunchuang gave her a strange look, as if she found it strange that as a heavenly fox, she did not even know such basic knowledge. Among the bloodlines, 6-tailed is already the highest. Even the current chief of the celestial fox people was only a 6-tailed celestial fox back then. Further up, there are 7-tailed and 8-tailed, but that is not because of the bloodline. Instead, it is because of the additional fox tails that are produced when one's cultivation level increases, Lu Yunchuang explained with a cold face. The more fox tails one had, the more powerful one was, but the greater one's potential. This was because every additional tail meant that one could learn another celestial fox legacy. Lu Yunchuang saw how powerful Yunxing was and thought that she would at least know this. Who knew that Yunxing was not aware of this at all? The more fox tails one had, the more celestial fox legacies one could learn. When Yunxing heard this, her frown, which she had been frowning because of the celestial fox bloodline test, suddenly relaxed. Does that mean that if a celestial fox learns multiple celestial fox legacies, how many celestial fox tails is she? Yunxing had previously comprehended 2 celestial fox legacies. In addition to the Yama's fox claw and fox's traceless shadow that she had learned later, she now had a total of 4 celestial fox legacies. Yunxing was a little worried that she would not even pass the first round of the test because she did not know the level of her bloodline. After Lu Yunchuang finished speaking, she looked away. Yunxing breathed a sigh of relief. If that was the case, the worst she could do was to be a 4-tailed celestial fox. At least she could escape the misfortune of being eliminated in the first round. However, Yunxing immediately thought of another problem. Does that mean that after a 4-tailed celestial fox has learned 4 celestial fox legacies, she will not be able to learn other legacies? Yunxing asked again. In theory, yes. If it were not for the fact that she and Yunxing had already become allies, Lu Yunchuang would not have bothered to ask Yunxing such pointless questions. Yunxing wailed in her heart. If she had known this would happen, she would not have learned 4 legacies so casually. If she really was a 4-tailed celestial fox, did that not mean that she would not be able to learn other celestial fox legacies? It was not that Yunxing's legacies were bad, but that there was no harm in having more skills. 1 more legacy was a promise. However, if the other celestial fox saintesses heard Yunxing's thoughts, they would probably vomit blood in anger. Heaven knew that most people would find it difficult to learn just 1 celestial fox legacy, but Yunxing could do it as easily as drinking water and eating rice. It would inevitably make people feel unbalanced. However, there are exceptions. For example, when your strength increases and the number of foxtails increases, you can naturally learn 1 more legacy, Lu Yunxuang could not help adding when she saw Yunxing's ugly expression. At this point, there was a sudden uproar in the square. What a shameless thing! How dare she participate in the test like this? Yunxing and Lu Yunxuang looked ahead. They saw Elder Jiu angrily reprimanding a celestial fox saintess candidate. That candidate was a tall and voluptuous young celestial fox. At this moment, she was trembling, and she was still holding the dagger in her hand. Yunxing could clearly see that the jade dagger was glowing red. Earlier, when several celestial fox saintess candidates, including Hu Linglong, cut their hands with the dagger, their blood did not touch the dagger. However, the moment the blood of this young celestial fox came into contact with the dagger changed. Chapter 12:22. Only now did Yunxing realize that the dagger placed next to the crystal ball was not an ordinary dagger. This was a special dagger called the Chastity Dagger. It was made from the soul stone of a very special magic beast in the Ba Huang continent, the Chastity Gecko. The Chastity Dagger was specifically used to test whether a woman was a virgin or not. If a woman's chastity was still intact, when her blood stained the dagger would not change. However, if a woman lost her chastity, the dagger would suck the blood of the woman who had lost her chastity, and the dagger would turn red. One of the requirements for the celestial fox saintess candidate was to be a virgin. This celestial fox saintess candidate had obviously had illicit relations with others. The celestial fox saintess is the symbol of the celestial fox tribe. You actually dared to conceal the truth. Someone come, break her tendons and strip her of her identity as a celestial fox. Also, expel all blood relatives within 3 generations from the tribe. The 9th elder flew into a rage. This celestial fox saintess selection was to choose a wife for the 9 Phoenix tribe's young clan leader. This damned woman actually participated with an impure body. If this matter was known by the 9 Phoenix tribe, who knew what kind of storm it would cause? 9th elder, please spare my life. When the celestial fox saintess candidate heard this, her entire body was paralyzed. From the noble status of the celestial fox to being expelled from the tribe, she and her family were finished. No one paid attention to the woman's mournful pleas. Her tendons were broken and she was dragged out with blood all over her body. In the square, everyone's eyes were cold. In the Ba Huang continent, the weak were not worthy of sympathy. After a few more rounds of testing, there were no more unchaste celestial fox saintess candidates. However, there were a few celestial fox half-beast men that did not reach the level of celestial fox half-beast men. The eliminated saintess candidates could only dejectedly leave the square. When it was Feng Du's turn, the first one to step forward was Qin Qi. After a test, her bloodline was found to be 4-tailed. Among all the celestial fox bloodlines, her bloodline was not bad. The Frost Fox and Lu Yunxuang walked up to him. Her blood dripped onto the crystal ball, and the crystal ball instantly emitted a blue light. In the crystal ball, it was as if it was snowing. A pure white snow fox appeared in front of everyone. Behind the snow fox, there were 5 tails. Five-tailed celestial fox, as expected of the Ice Fox clan with a rare bloodline. The ninth elder looked at the completely white ice fox and nodded approvingly. Lu Yunchuang's face remained as cold as ice in the face of praise. When it was Yunxing's turn, the ninth elder raised his head and saw Yunxing, who was wearing a veil. He frowned and then saw Yunxing's fox tail and fox ears. A half-orc that hasn't even shed its fox form. Feng Du was being too perfunctory. If not for Elder Lu's earlier instructions, he would have directly asked this half-orc to scram. Let's begin. The ninth elder's tone was not very pleasant. Yunxing did not pay attention to the ninth elder. She took the chastity dagger and shook the tip of the dagger. A drop of blood fell onto the crystal ball. Blood dripped onto the crystal ball. Chen Qi, Qin Yu, and the others all looked over with mocking expressions. The other celestial fox saintess candidates also looked like they were waiting to watch a good show. The blood lingered on the surface of the crystal ball for a moment, but the crystal ball did not react. Don't tell me you're not a celestial fox. The ninth elder stood up and looked at the crystal ball suspiciously. However, even if she was not a celestial fox, this test crystal ball should still be able to reveal Yunxing's beast form. Unless she was not a beast at all, but a human. Ridiculous, a human dared to participate in the celestial fox saintess selection. This discovery was even worse than the discovery of the celestial fox girl who had lost her virginity. Someone come. The ninth elder was furious and slammed his palm on the table. The round crystal ball almost fell off the table. At this moment, the crystal ball suddenly emitted a blazing white light. Everyone only saw a dazzling white light in front of them. The entire square was bathed in a white light that was like the moonlight. The ninth elder covered his eyes. A celestial fox appeared in the crystal ball. That celestial fox was exceptionally beautiful. It had a noble posture and was covered in silk-like silver fox fur. Its four hooves were also shining with a golden light. There was not a trace of fat on its body. Every bone was well proportioned. The most shocking thing was that the celestial fox had 6 tails on its back. Six tails. The ninth elder ignored the piercing light in his eyes. He leaned forward and grabbed the crystal ball tightly. He stuttered and looked at the 6-tailed celestial fox and the crystal ball in disbelief. The square was also dead silent. Those who had mocked Yunxing's identity as a half-beast human had all become mute. As for the ordinary citizens of whose city, they looked at the masked woman with reverence. The fox tails and fox ears on her body seemed to have disappeared. The celestial fox's black eyes were as dark as the night sky. It looked at the people in the square proudly. Yunxing was also surprised. She thought that with her mixed celestial fox bloodline, she would at most have 4 or 5 tails. She did not expect that she had 6 tails. In the crystal ball, the silver-white celestial fox winked at Yunxing. Its expression was very similar to Yunxing's usual expression. How can it be? That B, the word B** starred, was stuck in her throat like a fish bone. She could not spit it out. Qin Yu opened her mouth. She was only a 3-tailed celestial fox. She was not qualified to call Yunxing a B** starred at this time. Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian had complicated expressions. Although they were surprised by Yunxing's bloodline, they were not too shocked. It was a pity that Yunxing was now representing Fengdu in the competition. The competition in the following competition would be more intense. You are Yunxing from Fengdu, a 6-tailed celestial fox. Not bad, not bad. The ninth elder's eyes lit up. It had been many years since a 6-tailed celestial fox had appeared in the celestial fox tribe. So what if she is a 6-tailed fox? That good-for-nothing was also a 6-tailed fox. Yunxing was found to be a 6-tailed fox. Hu Linglong was the most depressed. She looked at the crystal ball with jealousy and hatred. She wanted to crush the crystal ball. Hu Linglong hated foxtails the most. In fact, when Hu Linglong was just born, she had been tested for her celestial fox bloodline. At that time, the previous celestial fox saintess had just passed away. The celestial fox tribe conducted a small test among several of the noblest newborn celestial fox girls. When the test results came out, Hu Linglong was a five-tailed fox. At that time, Hu Qiansui wanted to fight for her to become the celestial fox saintess. But in the end, Hu Qianqiu brought Hu Xing, who was born an hour earlier than Hu Linglong. Hu Xing was also found to be a six-tailed celestial fox at that time. Hu Xing was the only celestial fox to be found to be a six-tailed celestial fox in more than 20 years. From then on, Hu Xing naturally became the celestial fox saintess. He was also known as the most talented celestial fox after Hu Qianqiu. Chapter 12:23. However, the good times did not last long. Hu Xing gradually grew up, and when she was 6 years old, she participated in the celestial fox tribe's test. Whether it was Do Qi or magic, she actually knew nothing about them. From heaven to hell, Hu Xing also went from a proud daughter of heaven to a trash that was laughed at by others. A celestial fox with the noblest bloodline of a celestial fox, who actually did not know any magic or Do Qi. Even her father, Hu Qianqiu, neglected her because of this. If not for the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe, who supported Hu Xing would have been abolished long ago. However, it was also from then on that Hu Xing's character became increasingly autistic, and finally became the joke of the entire celestial fox tribe. Hearing Hu Linglong's words, the ninth elder and the spectators in the square, who were originally immersed in the joy of a six-tailed celestial fox, also recalled. That's right, the previous celestial fox, Hu Xing, was also a six-tailed celestial fox. It was only because she was really too useless that everyone had already forgotten that she was originally a six-tailed celestial fox. In any case, the results of the first round of tests were still good. The next few rounds of tests would ultimately determine who was the most suitable to be the celestial fox saintess. However, this time, it would not be like the last time, where a useless celestial fox saintess was chosen. After Plentiful City, there were only 2 capital cities left. 6 celestial fox women of different figures and appearances came forward, and one by one, they were tested. The first 4 people's test results were mostly normal. They were 3-tailed and 4-tailed respectively. There were no more cases of losing one's chastity or higher bloodlines above 5-tailed. At this time, a yellow-clothed woman came forward, wearing a bamboo hat. The ninth elder was somewhat dissatisfied. Earlier, when Yunxing wore a veil, the ninth elder wanted to reprimand her, but he did not say it out of consideration for Elder Lu. This woman was even more outrageous, directly wearing a bamboo hat. The yellow-clothed woman seemed to know that she had angered the ninth elder. She gently took off her bamboo hat, revealing a face that was like a peach blossom in spring. However, at that moment, no one was paying attention to the woman's face. Including Elder Zhou, everyone was staring at the yellow-clothed woman's eyes. It was a pair of indescribable eyes. One eye was blue while the other was green. This commoner is Yu Shang, from Yudu. The woman's voice was also very pleasant to the ears. She raised her snow-white hand and picked up the dagger, wiping it across her hand. Dazzling red blood rolled onto the crystal ball. The crystal ball shone with a dazzling yellow light, and a yellow heavenly fox appeared within it. Heavens, it's six-tailed again. When he saw the yellow celestial fox, the ninth elder couldn't help but rub his eyes. This was because there was also a six-tailed celestial fox in the crystal ball. How was this possible? The six-tailed celestial fox, which hadn't appeared for over 20 years, actually appeared among the candidates for the celestial fox saintess this time. Hu Linglong bit her lower lip hard, almost tasting blood. Yudu Shang, when did such a person appear in Yudu? This person called Yu Shang was obviously not someone to be trifled with. Her dual-colored eyes and the temperament that made all men look askance made Hu Linglong feel a strong sense of danger. In comparison, the half-beastman fox girl from Fengdu was nothing. Yudu. Yunxing revealed a look of curiosity. She was not familiar with the few capitals of the celestial fox tribal country. Looks like Yudu is going to make a comeback this time. Yudu is the poorest among the 10 capitals of the celestial fox tribal country, Qin Chi said angrily, looking at the crystal ball enviously. She had thought that five-tailed celestial fox girls like Hu Linglong and Lu Shuiyu were the most powerful candidates for the celestial fox saintess this time. Who would have thought that Yunxing and Yu Shang would appear out of nowhere? You're called Yu Shang, right? I remember that someone from Yudu mentioned you before. At that time, you were only five-tailed, right? The ninth elder was in charge of the registration for the celestial fox saintess this time. When he collected the information of all the saintess candidates, he had noted that there should be 4 five-tailed celestial fox girls. They were Hu Linglong, Lu Shuiyu, Lu Yunxuang, and Yudu Shang. As for the half-beastman fox girl who appeared out of nowhere, Elder Lu's information did not state her exact bloodline. After all, Yunxing herself did not know what her bloodline was at that time. The information and test results of the other candidates all corresponded. Only Yu Shang went from five-tailed to six-tailed. For some people, the difference between five-tailed and six-tailed might be the difference between one-tailed and one-tailed. However, for the celestial fox tribe, especially the upper echelons of the tribal country, no one knew better than them that the difference between five-tailed and six-tailed was like heaven and earth. Of course, the prerequisite was that the other party was not a second Hu Xing. How did Yu Shang become six-tailed in just a few days' time? This was simply too inconceivable. The ninth elder also wanted to confirm whether Yu Shang had used any unfair means or tricks. When Yu Shang came to Hu City, she was still five-tailed. However, Yu Shang broke through the day before yesterday. Yu Shang's eyes were full of affection, and her strange eyes had an indescribable charm. Even the ninth elder, a purebred celestial fox, could not help but feel his heart skip a beat. She broke through to six-tailed on her own. Such an answer caused another uproar. That was even more incredible. Being able to break through from five-tailed to six-tailed at such a young age was already very impressive. Moreover, this indirectly showed that Yu Shang's strength was very strong. The commotion caused by Yu Shang quickly overshadowed the earlier commotion caused by Yunxing's six-tailed celestial fox test. After the first round of tests, a total of 26 out of 30 saintess candidates from the 10 capitals of the celestial fox tribal country remained. The ninth elder was quite satisfied with this result. Congratulations to all of you for passing the first round of tests. Tomorrow, the second round of tests will begin. I believe that all of you already know that the celestial fox saintess selection is divided into 3 rounds. The first round is the bloodline test, the second round is the written test, and the third round is the combat test, the ninth elder announced to the crowd. In order to avoid a situation like Hu Xing's, the celestial fox saintess selection this time was the strictest in terms of procedures and requirements. The bloodline test was something that all the celestial fox saintess candidates already knew about when they signed up. It was also the easiest test to pass. The contents of the second round of the written test and the third round of the combat test had not been announced to the public. They would only be announced on the day of the competition. After the ninth elder emphasized the contents of the competition, he left the square with the test results. The people in the various capitals also dispersed. Before leaving, Hu Linglong glared at Yu Shang. Yu Shang was all smiles, but when she passed by Yun Xing, she deliberately took a few more glances at her. There was an indescribable sense of provocation in that pair of bewitching eyes. Chapter 12:24. Yu Shang was also a very proud person. She had broken through to 6 tails on the eve of the competition and thought that she would be able to dominate the crowd. Who knew that another unknown person from Fengdu, Yun Xing, would appear? That woman is not simple. Lu Yunchuang glanced at Yu Shang. It doesn't matter. As long as it's an open competition, there's no need to hide anything. Yun Xing smiled faintly. She would let them see the truth in the upcoming competition. News of 2 six-tails appearing in the first round of the Celestial Fox Saintess test spread throughout the entire Hu capital in less than 2 hours. After Hu Linglong returned home, her face was gloomy and extremely irritated. Even her personal maidservant suffered a calamity. Linglong, I heard that 2 six-tails appeared in today's competition. Is this true? Hu Qiansui entered the house. Yes, 2 women from Fengdu and Yudu. I don't know if the test is accurate. Let's not talk about that seductive Yu Shang. That woman from Fengdu even retained her half-beast form. If Elder Jiu had not been present, Hu Linglong would have questioned it on the spot. I don't think it's fake. I heard that Elder Lu found that half-beast from somewhere. It said that she's a half-beast without a family. Earlier, that woman even injured Lu Shuiyu. If it weren't for her high value and Elder Lu's personality, he wouldn't have allowed her to represent Fengdu in the competition. However, the one you really need to worry about is that woman called Yu Shang. Hu Qiansui's expression became more serious when he mentioned Yu Shang. Why, father? What's so great about that Yu Shang? She's just a 6-tails who just broke through. She's only slightly stronger than me at best, Hu Linglong said angrily. If she was given another year or 2, she could also break through to 6-tails. Don't be too confident. The content of the second round of the theory test is out. Hu Qiansui's expression was profound. The content of the competition for the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was highly confidential. Hu Qiansui had put in a lot of effort to find out the details. This was definitely an advantage for Hu Linglong. Remember, this opportunity is not easy to come by. You have to be prepared before the others, Hu Qiansui reminded. Father, don't worry. This time, your daughter will definitely not disappoint you. When Hu Linglong heard that, all her previous worries were swept away. Hu Qiansui nodded his head in satisfaction. He recalled Elder Lu's smug expression at the Elders' Assembly today. He felt uncomfortable for a while. Not long after the Celestial Fox Saintess bloodline test ended, the 9th Elder gave 2 copies of the test results to Patriarch Hu Qianqiu and the other elders. When Elder Lu saw the results of the test, his eyebrows twitched and he tried his best to hide the surprise in his eyes. Congratulations, Elder Lu. You found a good seedling this time. The other Celestial Fox elders congratulated Elder Lu. Elder Lu smiled awkwardly. He couldn't tell others that he didn't know that the half-beast human Celestial Fox he found was actually a 6-tailed Celestial Fox. Elder Lu, if this girl is chosen as the Celestial Fox Saintess, your Fengdu city will be strengthened. Hu Qiansui said at this time, reminding the other elders that Fengdu city was dominant and might even surpass Hudou city. Sure enough, after hearing this, the expressions of the other elders changed. Hu Qiansui, this old fox. Elder Lu cursed in his heart. Elder Hu, why do you say that? No matter talent, strength or appearance, Miss Linglong is 1 in a million. What's more, there will be the civil and martial competition. It's hard to say who will be the saintess. Elder Lu said modestly. That's right. But what will be tested in the civil test? Hu Qiansui said with a deep look. That depends on the result of the discussion between the chief, the witch doctor, and the first elder. Elder Lu smiled. Everyone, the competition of the theory test has been decided. For the sake of fairness, I have already given the content of the competition to the third elder. The content will not be announced until tomorrow at the competition venue. The first elder of the Celestial Fox Elders Guild walked in. In his hand, he was holding the content of the civil test discussed with the other two leaders of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. The third elder will be in charge. Elder Lu looked unhappy, but Hu Qiansui was happy. The third elder and Elder Lu had always been at odds. They were on Hu Qiansui's side. After the meeting, the elders all had their own thoughts. In contrast, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu, was much happier. Since his daughter Hu Xing was judged to be a waste, he hadn't been so happy in a long time. After confirming the content of the civil test with the elders, he returned to the Celestial Fox Palace. The chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe was a guest in the Celestial Fox Palace these days. Qianqiu, congratulations. I heard that 2 six-tailed Celestial Fox appeared in the Celestial Fox tribe this time. It seems that the Celestial Fox tribal nation can make a comeback in this Bahuang tribe competition. Although the chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe didn't participate in the first round of the test, his eyes and ears were very smart. And he also heard from his subordinates that the half-beast woman he had taken a fancy to was actually a 6-tailed Celestial Fox. Thank you for your blessings. It's just a 6-tailed fox. How can it be compared to other tribes, especially a genius like the young chief LV? Hu Qianqiu was modest. Although Hu Qianqiu was happy, he wasn't a blindly optimistic person. Although there were 2 six-tailed and 2 5-tailed, compared to the other saintesses and young chiefs of the Bakra orcs, the candidates of the Celestial Fox tribe saintess, except for Hu Linglong, most of them weren't of noble birth. It was said that some of them didn't even have a clear background. Such a person, even if her talent was good, could not be compared to the other proud sons and daughters of the other tribes who had been baptized by the beast god altar since young and received the best resources. Even if the candidate was finally confirmed, she still needed to be properly trained and completely transformed into a saintess that could be used by the Celestial Fox tribe. Hee, we're going to be a family soon. There's no need to be so polite. The chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe chuckled. Chief! A Celestial Fox soldier came forward and whispered. Hu Qianqiu's face that was full of smiles suddenly darkened. Old chief, there are some matters in the palace. Qianqiu will take his leave first. If you're interested, you can follow the third elder to the Celestial Fox Temple to watch the theory test. Hu Qianqiu hurriedly said a few words and left. In the Celestial Fox Palace, several soldiers stopped a beautiful woman in white. I beg you, let me see the chief. The beautiful woman's appearance was elegant, but her expression was very haggard. She begged the soldiers bitterly, but no one paid attention to her. If Yunxing saw her, she would be very surprised. Because this woman's appearance was almost the same as her mother, Hu Jiuxing. Chapter 12:25. The woman's pleas did not gain any sympathy from the soldiers. Madam, please don't make things difficult for us. The chief is greeting an important guest. Seeing you like this, he will punish you again. The Celestial Fox soldiers coldly pushed the woman away. How dare you? How can you treat the chief's wife like this? The maid behind the woman scolded. It turned out that this woman who looked like Hu Jiuxing was actually the wife of the Celestial Fox people's chief, Hu Rulan. The Celestial Fox tribal nation did not have an emperor. The chief and elders were the highest rulers. The chief's wife's identity was equivalent to the queen of a nation. She should have a high position and power. However, this woman in front of them had no position in the Celestial Fox Palace. All these years, Hu Qianqiu had taken in a large number of celestial fox beauties into the palace and completely ignored this so-called chief's wife of the celestial fox people. The specific reason was that this chief's wife, who was once known as the #1 beauty of the celestial fox, gave birth to a trash daughter. After this trash daughter became the saintess, it was rumored that she was sold to the boundless land and lost her innocence. Although the chief had kept this matter under wraps, the Celestial Fox Palace had long spread the news. After the news spread, the chief's wife, who was not favored to begin with, was even less valued. Even some beauties who had just entered the palace dared to bully her. Hu Rulan missed her daughter and begged Hu Qianqiu many times to send people to the boundless land to search for her daughter's whereabouts. However, she was mercilessly rejected by Hu Qianqiu every time. That trash is not worth the tribe's manpower to search for her. Hu Rulan clearly remembered Hu Qianqiu's ruthless look. However, she still did not give up and would look for Hu Qianqiu every few days. Hu Rulan, are you done? If you were not tested as a 5-tailed celestial fox, would not have married you. Don't forget, in terms of status, you are just an orphan. Hu Qianqiu walked over with a cold face. Hu Rulan was an orphan. She was born in the wasteland and was adopted by the previous fox clan leader. She and Hu Qianqiu were childhood sweethearts. That year, Hu Qianqiu had chosen Hu Rulan out of countless women of marriageable age because she was beautiful, gentle, and had the bloodline of the 5-tailed celestial fox. Hu Qianqiu was in love with her for a while, especially when she gave birth to the 6-tailed celestial fox bloodline Hu Xing. However, everything changed after Hu Xing was found to be a good-for-nothing. Hu Qianqiu was the clan leader, but he had a useless daughter. This matter became Hu Qianqiu's biggest flaw. For nearly 20 years, he had been brooding over this matter. Who knows if it was because of that trash, but all these years, even though Hu Qianqiu had recruited countless beauties into his harem, but among his children, there wasn't a single high-grade celestial fox. Not to mention a 6-tailed beast, he didn't even see a 5-tailed beast. Hu Qianqiu attributed all these to Hu Xing. In the first few months after Hu Xing went missing, Hu Qianqiu was secretly delighted. That trash was finally gone. To him, it was also a relief. But who knew that something like that would happen later on? That trash was actually sold to the boundless world. Although Hu Xing was a trash, her appearance was the same as Hu Rulan, beautiful and outstanding. A celestial fox woman would only have one outcome if she fell into the hands of a man from the human race. So from the moment he knew that Hu Xing was sold to the boundless world, Hu Qianqiu thought that his daughter was already dead. Qianqiu, I don't ask for anything else. I only ask that you send someone to find out about Hu Xing's whereabouts. Yesterday, I dreamt that Xing said she was back. On Hu Rulan's face, tears rolled down like broken pearls. She had a weak personality. When the old clan leader was still around, there was still someone she could rely on. The old clan leader was afraid that she would be bullied, so he specially appointed Hu Qianqiu to take care of her. When the two of them just got married, everything was fine. But ever since her daughter Hu Xing was determined to be trash, everything changed. Her beloved husband spoke coldly to her and took in many beauties. Hu Rulan didn't have any complaints. She just silently raised her daughter and relied on her for survival. In the Celestial Fox Palace, they lived peacefully for the rest of their lives. But, her daughter suddenly went missing. To Hu Rulan, the entire sky collapsed. Her daughter went missing for a few years. She washed her face with tears every day. Hu Qianqiu said that her daughter was already dead. But last night, she dreamt that her daughter Hu Xing was alive and standing in front of her. She was still the same as before, gently calling out, "Mother, Xing is back." Flesh and blood were connected to the heart. Hu Rulan firmly believed that her daughter wouldn't lie to her. She must have already returned. Dream on, Hu Rulan. You'd better give up. I won't send a single soldier to look for her. I really regret that I didn't kill her when I found out she was trash. Right now, the Nine Phoenix clan leader is a guest in the Celestial Fox Palace. Don't make trouble. Or else, I'll chase you out of the palace. Hu Qianqiu viciously ordered people to escort Hu Rulan back to the palace. Hu Rulan looked at the huge palace, but her heart was cold. Hu Qianqiu had never truly cared about her and her daughter. Guizhi, help me pack my luggage. Perhaps because she cried too many times, Hu Rulan's eyes were dry. Not a single tear flowed out. She believed that she wouldn't have such a dream for no reason. Madam. What are you doing? Hu Rulan's maid was puzzled. I want to leave the Celestial Fox Palace. This is no longer a place for me. Hu Rulan smiled miserably. In Hu Qianqiu's heart, there was only the glory of being the leader of the Celestial Fox people. The Celestial Fox Saintess selection was in full swing. He wouldn't care about his daughter, Hu Xing. After leaving the Celestial Fox Palace, no matter if it was the Eight Desolates continent or the Boundless continent, even if she had to risk her life, she would find her daughter, Hu Xing. That night, the master and maid packed their luggage and quietly left the Celestial Fox Palace. Standing outside a side door of the palace, Hu Rulan was a little timid. After she married Hu Qianqiu, she hadn't left the Celestial Fox Palace for decades. Hu Dou was no longer the Hu Dou of the past. For a moment, she didn't know where to find her daughter, Hu Xing. In her confusion, Hu Rulan could only lead her maid and wander around the streets of Hu Dou. It was already around the time when the lanterns were lit. The bustling streets of Hu Dou were filled with pedestrians. Due to the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, there were a lot of people coming in and out of Hu Dou during this period of time. Hu Rulan walked among the crowd. When she thought of her daughter in her dream last night, she felt sad. Unknowingly, she was separated from her maid, Guizhi. Io, don't you have eyes? How dare you bump into me? By the time Hu Rulan realized it, she was already on a completely unfamiliar street. In the midst of the crowd, she bumped into a fierce-looking man. Chapter 12:26. That person grabbed Hu Rulan and was about to swear. Just as he was about to curse, he suddenly saw a light in front of his eyes. Hu Rulan's appearance was one of the best in the Celestial Fox tribe. Otherwise, Hu Qianqiu would not have married her. Although she was a mother now, her beauty was not any less than before. In the eyes of this passerby, she was like a celestial being. Sorry, I was distracted for a moment. Hu Rulan stammered and anxiously looked around for the servant girl. However, the servant girl, Guizhi, was nowhere to be seen. It's okay, it's okay. It's fate that we bumped into a beauty. The Celestial Fox people had a wretched look on his face and reached out to touch Hu Rulan's face. How dare you? Do you know who I am? I'm the tribe's. Hu Rulan had never been molested before. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She was about to reveal her identity. However, she thought about it again. Since she had left the Celestial Fox Palace, she was no longer the tribe leader's wife. Moreover, no one had seen her as the tribe leader's wife all these years. Who are you? Beauty, why don't you tell me? The Heavenly Fox clan member was considered to have some power in Hu's city. Seeing Hu Rulan's beauty and the fact that she was alone, he had evil thoughts and wanted to snatch her back. Hu Rulan panicked and wanted to escape. However, she was surrounded by people. She stumbled like a headless fly. Help me. Hu Rulan called for help. However, the passers-by were indifferent. Get out of the way. This woman is my servant girl. She stole money and ran away. No one is allowed to interfere. The celestial fox people laughed sinisterly like an eagle pouncing on a chick. Stop. Someone in the crowd shouted. 2 men and a woman walked out of the crowd. With their backs to the light, the celestial fox people could only see a tall figure. Where did this brat come from? How dare you interfere in my business? Let me tell you, I'm the son of the second elder of the Elder Council. The celestial fox people shouted. Even if it's celestial fox, an elder of the Council of Elders, she can't kidnap a civilian girl on the street. You said this woman is your maid. What is her name and what did she steal? The leading man's voice was cold, and his body emitted a chilling aura. The celestial fox passerby was speechless. When Heartwarming saw this person, it was as if she had seen her savior. She hurriedly said, Young master, I am not their maid. My maid and I have just arrived in whose city. Due to the crowded streets, we accidentally got separated. She looked up and met the eyes of the kind-hearted person who saw injustice. When Heartwarming and the kind-hearted passerby saw each other's faces clearly, they were both astonished. Heartwarming was astonished. It was this passerby who had an extraordinary appearance. It was a young man. He was not very old, and his clothes were very low-key. However, from head to toe, he emitted an aristocratic temperament. Compared to the celestial fox people's leader, Chincho, he was even more handsome. When the young man looked at Heartwarming's face, he was also somewhat unnatural. Young master. Young master. Yaoji, who was standing at the side, could not help but call out when she saw that the 2 people were looking at each other strangely. The young master had never paid any attention to the young women in the clan. Why was he stunned when he saw this married woman today? Could it be that the young master liked this kind of woman? Yaoji's expression was unfriendly. She looked at Heartwarming a few more times and found that this fox woman was indeed very beautiful. No wonder she was bullied by the passerby with ulterior motives on the way. These 3 passers-by who were walking on the streets of whose city and saw injustice were the young master of the 9 Phoenix clan, Lu, and his 2 subordinates, who had arrived in whose city in disguise. In order to stop his grandfather from matchmaking, Lu had rushed all the way here. He had just arrived in whose city in the evening. He had wanted to find an inn to rest, but he happened to meet this woman. It was just a moment of injustice. Little did he know that the woman in front of him looked somewhat similar to Yunxing. Especially that pair of black eyes. Lu was absent-minded for a moment. It was not until Heartwarming was a little uncomfortable under his gaze that he realized that he had been rude. Lu had met Yunxing twice in the Dutian blood realm and had a deep affection for her. It was also because of Yunxing that he was so repulsed when his grandfather mentioned the marriage between the 9 Phoenix clan and the Celestial Fox clan in the past few years. Although he had long known that it was impossible for him and Yunxing to be together, Lu still had a faint hope that perhaps he could meet Yunxing again one day. Just now, he also felt that this woman's back view was somewhat similar to Yunxing's, so he could not help but interfere. From the way this woman's hair was done, it was obvious that she was married. Although she was alone, her clothes and manner of speech showed that she was from a wealthy family. She was definitely not a maid or servant. Moreover, she was a celestial fox. Yunxing was from the human race. She would never have anything to do with this woman in front of him. Where did this brat come from? Since when is it your turn to meddle in my business? The celestial fox passerby saw that the beauty had been snatched away and became even more annoyed. He was about to step forward and make trouble. The celestial fox passerby looked at Lu's travel-worn appearance and knew that he was not from the village at first glance. Moreover, he was young, so it was already obvious that he was easy to bully. Get out of my way. Don't get in my way. The celestial fox passerby reached out to grab Hu Rulan. She was so frightened that she hurriedly retreated behind Lu. Seeing that the celestial fox passerby was so rude, Lu's expression changed abruptly. He took a step forward. On the surging street, the passers-by within dozens of meters only felt an invisible pressure pressing down on them. The crowded crowd was forced to create a gap of more than a meter. Before the celestial fox passerby who intended to provoke him approached, he felt as if his chest had been hit by a hammer. Before he could even make a muffled sound, his whole body flew out like a kite with a broken string. After flying out, he fell limply to the ground and never got up again. He's dead, dead. A nosy passerby went forward to take a look and found that the celestial fox passerby was like mud from head to toe. There was not a complete bone to be found. Such fierce strength. To be able to turn a purebred heavenly fox into meat paste with just one collision, where exactly did this young man come from? The onlookers all took a few steps back in fright and looked at Lu in horror. Let's go. Lu turned around and was about to leave without a word. Wait a minute. Hu Rulan looked around and then looked at Lu and the other two who were about to leave. After being separated from Guizhi, she was penniless and did not even know where to go tonight. Woman, young master kindly saved you. Why are you still pestering him? Yaoji was not in a good mood. Young master, I have lost my luggage and money. Can you take me in for a few days? When I find a maid, I will return the money to you. Hu Rulan plucked up her courage. Chapter 12:27. Hu Rulan thought that she would be rejected. She did not expect that the cold-looking young man would agree to her request. Hu Rulan thanked them profusely. She followed the three of them to an inn in the city and stayed there. After finding an inn, Yaoji and Grey Feather were puzzled. Young clan leader, how could you agree to that woman's request so rashly? We don't even know who she is. Yaoji was especially displeased. Before the young clan leader left, he had ordered the two of them to call him young master in public and not reveal his identity. But now, as soon as he turned around, he brought a woman to his side. Although the woman looked weak and incompetent, who knew if she was a wolf in sheep's clothing? After all, this was the Celestial Fox tribal country, so it was better to be cautious. She looks a little like an old friend of mine. Just do her a favor. Green did not know why he agreed to a request from a passerby. Apart from some similarities in appearance, the woman named Hu Rulan did not look like Yunxing at all. Hu Rulan was like a fresh white jasmine, making people feel pity for her. Yunxing, on the other hand, was like a thorny rose. Anyone who touched her would be covered in bruises and bruises. But it was precisely this kind of temperament that attracted Green's attention. Well, I'll keep her for a few days. Grey Feather, how's the investigation going? Green did not think so. He had secretly checked that Hu Rulan did not know fighting energy or magic, so she would not be in any danger. Young clan leader, I've inquired from the shopkeeper. The Celestial Fox Saint ceremony has already gone through one round. I heard that there were 2 6-tailed celestial foxes and 2 5-tailed celestial foxes in the bloodline test today. Grey Feather peeked at the young clan leader's reaction when he said this. Not to mention the 5-tailed celestial fox, the celestial fox people must be overjoyed this time. There were even 2 6-tailed celestial foxes. The old patriarch must have heard the news, and his determination to marry Celestial Fox must have been even more resolute. So what if she's 6-tailed? If I don't want to marry her, it's useless even if she's 9-tailed. Green snorted. Yaoji watched from the side and was secretly delighted. It seemed that the young chieftain really hated the women of the Celestial Fox tribe. In addition, tomorrow, the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony will be held at the Celestial Fox Temple. Young Patriarch, do you want to take a look? Grey Feather asked. It's good to have a look. I want to see what kind of people the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has produced. Green decided to go to the Celestial Fox Shrine tomorrow morning to have a look. After staying at the inn, Heartwarming calmed down a little. She also knew that she had only met Lu by chance. Even if she did not find Guizhi, she could not continue to follow Lu and the others. It was just that in the vast sea of people, she did not know where to find her daughter. Xing you must bless me and give me some hints as to where I can find you. Heartwarming sighed. She lay on the bed and closed her eyes. Heartwarming softly chanted. At this moment, a very weak fluctuation appeared on her body. The fluctuation formed a milky white light mist on Heartwarming's body. In the light mist, Heartwarming fell into a deep sleep. This light mist was not an ordinary mist. It was a special kind of inheritance that was triggered after Heartwarming used her own Celestial Fox inheritance. Heartwarming was a Celestial Fox. The Fox Elder had tested her long ago and found that she did not have any fighting energy or magic talent. However, Heartwarming had an inheritance that was different from the other Celestial Fox inheritances. It was this inheritance that made the old patriarch of the Fox tribe think highly of Heartwarming. That was, Heartwarming could use dreams to predict the future. This inheritance was called foresight. Therefore, after Heartwarming had that dream last night, she hoped that Hu Qianqiu could find her daughter, Hu Xing, because she knew that her daughter, Hu Xing, must have returned to the 8 wastelands. In the dream, Heartwarming saw a person in front of her. Xing Heartwarming called out. Hu Xing, who was in front of her, did not respond. She just walked forward slowly. She watched as her daughter walked faster and faster until she finally disappeared into a speck of light. Xing turn around and look at me. Heartwarming called out, but Hu Xing refused to turn around. Heartwarming sat up in shock. She looked outside and saw that the sky was already bright. In the dream, why was her daughter walking further and further away? A sense of uneasiness grew wildly like weeds. Heartwarming rubbed her temples and suddenly remembered. In the dream just now, she seemed to have seen the scene where her daughter was at somewhere before. Celestial Fox Temple. That is the Celestial Fox Temple of the Celestial Fox tribe. When Heartwarming and Hu Qianqiu got married, the place where they held the Celestial Fox wedding was at the Celestial Fox Temple. Heartwarming remembered that there was a Celestial Fox statue in the Celestial Fox Temple. In the dream, she could vaguely see the Celestial Fox statue. Could it be that Xing is reminding me to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to find her in the dream? Heartwarming muttered to herself. She had no clue at this time. Since there was a clue in the dream, she would not let it go. Heartwarming decided to go to the Celestial Fox Temple today. She hurriedly got up. Just as she walked out of the door, she saw Lu, Yaoji, and the others who were also about to go out. You are also going out? Heartwarming already knew last night that the kind young man who saved her was called Lu. He came from the 9-1 tribe and came to Hu City to do business. Heartwarming had a good impression of Lu. This young man not only had a good appearance and temperament, but he was also very polite to people. He was the type of man that every mother would be assured to introduce to their daughters. Lu was also very generous. After learning about Heartwarming's predicament, he had already paid for her room for 10 days. Heartwarming could walk around freely during this period and look for her maidservant. Madam Heartwarming, we heard that the Celestial Fox Temple in the city is holding the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. We plan to go and watch the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition, Lu said in a friendly manner. Saintess Selection Competition. Hearing this, Heartwarming was a little absent-minded. She had almost forgotten that the most lively thing in the city was the Celestial Fox Saintess selection competition. In order to establish a relationship with the 9-1 tribe, Hu Qianqiu and the Council of Elders were very concerned about the Celestial Fox Saintess selection competition. That man did not care about his daughter's safety. Instead, he tried his best to find a saintess to replace his daughter in order to curry favor with other tribes. Hu Rulan's heart was filled with sorrow. Young Master Lu, I also want to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to watch the fun. Can you take me with you? Hu Rulan forced a smile. Yaoji was a little unhappy and was about to make things difficult for her. To be honest, young master, I came to Hu's city this time to look for my daughter. She also came to participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection competition. Hu Rulan was afraid that they would refuse, so she lied. I see. In that case, let's go together. After all, the Celestial Fox Temple is a public place. Anyone can go and watch. Lu did not mind. Thus, he brought Hu Rulan to the Celestial Fox Temple. Chapter 12:28. The Dutian Fox Temple was an important place in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In modern times, it was similar to a temple with the most incense. Once a heavenly fox was born in Hudu, its parents and clan would pray for blessings. When a celestial fox died, she would also be cremated at the Celestial Fox Temple. Even celestial fox from other cities would go to the Celestial Fox Temple to burn incense and worship their ancestors when they arrived at Hu City. The news of the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, the theory test, was held at the Celestial Fox Temple. The next day, the crowd that came to the Celestial Fox Temple to spectate almost flattened the stone steps of the Celestial Fox Temple. When the third elder, who was in charge of hosting the second round of the theory test, saw the situation, he had no choice but to deploy 3,000 Celestial Fox soldiers to block the crowd outside. After resting for a night, Yunxing stepped into the Celestial Fox Temple. What greeted him was a series of antique buildings, pavilions, terraces, and pagodas. Between the buildings, there was a large pool of green water. The pond was sparkling, and in the middle was an ivory statue that was almost 100 meters tall. The statue was lifelike, and it was a celestial fox. Behind it were 8 shocking tails. Anyone who had been to the Dutian Fox Temple would know that this statue was built by the people of the Celestial Fox tribal nation to commemorate the strongest Celestial Fox people in the history of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Yen. Back then, when the humans of the Boundless Continent and the Bakra orcs clashed, Celestial Fox Hu Yen and the chief of the Black Chelan tribe, Yi Xiu, sacrificed their lives to stop the humans from the 8 barren lands. They helped the Bakra orcs escape to the 8 barren lands and preserve their bloodline, making an indelible contribution. It was just a pity that in the end, Hu Yen died in battle in the Boundless world. Even the Celestial Fox relic's whereabouts were unknown. The written exam this time was held by the pond under the statue of Celestial Fox people Chang Huyen. A large number of Celestial Fox soldiers blocked the crowd a kilometer away from the pond. More than 20 saintesses from the 10 capital cities gathered by the pond. Lu, Hu Rulan, and the others had just arrived. Although the crowd was densely packed, the gray feather guard had a cold expression on his face. When he swept his gaze over the crowd, the people beside him were so scared that they immediately took a few steps back. Lu and Hu Rulan easily arrived in front of them. His green eyes turned and swept across the 20 or so saintess candidates in Celestial Fox's group. Noticing that Hu Linglong was among them, Green's eyes flashed with unconcealable disgust. As expected, that woman was also there. Hu Rulan saw that the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were all gorgeously dressed. Thinking that her daughter's life was unknown at this time, she felt a burst of bitterness in her heart. They're all coquettish women. I really don't know what the old patriarch sees in them. Yaoji pouted disdainfully. At this moment, Yaoji's gaze changed. She noticed a particularly eye-catching masked woman in the crowd. Why is she here? Yaoji was naturally referring to Yunxing. Among these celestial fox saintesses, only Yunxing was masked. Therefore, when Yaoji mentioned her, the others also noticed her. That person is the female doctor in Songdu. She was the one who got in our way earlier. Yaoji had always been brooding about Yunxing. She was clearly a female doctor in Songdu. How did she suddenly become a saintess candidate? There must be something strange in this. Is this the woman you said could summon the subdivine beast? Lu could not help but pay more attention to the masked woman. Unfortunately, the crowd was too far away. He could barely see her back. Silence. Third Elder held a box in his hand with a solemn expression. He led more than 20 celestial fox saintess candidates and bowed respectfully to the fox statue of Patriarch Hu Yen. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the celestial fox saintess represents the celestial fox clan. Not only is she of noble lineage, but she is also good at both civil and martial arts. After an overnight discussion between the Patriarch, the Council of Elders, and the Great Witch Doctor, the content of the culture test for the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has been confirmed. It is in this box in my hand. Third Elder said with conviction. The eyes of more than 20 candidates lit up. They stared at the box with shining eyes. Hu Linglong looked at the box with a hint of joy at the corner of her mouth. This time, even God was on her side. The content of the culture test is related to Patriarch Hu Yen of the Celestial Fox people. You will need to learn Patriarch Hu Yen's famous witchcraft, the corpse puppet technique, in 1 hour. As soon as Third Elder finished speaking, the crowd became restless. Corpse puppet technique. As soon as these 3 words were mentioned, the Celestial Fox clan became restless. Even the expressions of more than 20 candidates changed slightly. The corpse puppet technique was said to be the unique sorcery technique of the clan leader of the Heavenly Fox clan, Hu Yen. Back then, she had used this sorcery technique to make the pursuers of the human clan change sides at the last moment of the war between the human clan and the beast clan in the Boundless Continent, thus delaying the human clan's progress. Regarding this witchcraft skill, the upper echelons of the Celestial Fox tribal nation had always regarded it as a treasure. They worshipped and preserved it. In the Celestial Fox tribal nation, there were only a handful of people who knew the corpse puppet technique. They did not expect that this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony would include the corpse puppet technique as the content of the culture test. For the more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox clan, this had both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that even if they were not selected in the end, they would still learn the corpse puppet technique. For them, even if they were not selected and returned to the capital city, their status in their respective cities or clans would be greatly improved. The disadvantage was that since the corpse puppet technique was one of the witchcraft skills that made Patriarch Hu Yen of the Celestial Fox people famous, it was no ordinary witchcraft skill. In just 2 short hours, it was practically impossible for him to learn and apply the technique. As soon as Third Elder finished speaking, more than 20 meditation magic arrays floated above the open pond. A scroll was placed in each magic array. In the next 1 hour, these candidates of the Saintess would meditate in the magic arrays and comprehend the corpse puppet technique. It was the corpse puppet technique. Without batting an eyelid, Yunxing chose one of the magic arrays and walked over. She noticed that Hu Linglong could not hide the smile on her face. As for Yu Shang and Lu Yunchuang, their expressions were very calm. The more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess opened the scroll as soon as they entered the magic array. What's this? Yunxing frowned. The ancient characters of Celestial Fox were written on the scroll. The candidates of the celestial fox saintess had also opened their scrolls. Some people could not help but grumble softly when they saw the ancient characters of celestial fox. The ancient characters of celestial fox were recorded in an ancient language. In today's celestial fox clan, only those purebred celestial fox clans with ancient family roots and some nobles would learn it. It was impossible for ordinary celestial fox hybrids to learn the ancient characters of celestial fox. More than 30% of the candidates of the celestial fox saintess this time were celestial fox hybrids. One could imagine how many candidates of the saintess were stumped by the ancient characters of the corpse puppet technique. As expected, they were discriminating against celestial fox hybrids. However, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you again this time. Yunxing sneered in her heart. Chapter 12:29. 1 hour was a very limited time. No matter how difficult the scroll was, the 20 or so celestial fox saintess candidates had no choice but to study it. Light flickered in the meditation magic array. The celestial fox girls in the magic array were all as beautiful as a painting. Such scenery reflected in the blue sky and clear water was a unique sight. Hu Linglong could be said to be the most relaxed among all of them. Last night, she had already learned about the contents of the theory examination from her father, Hu Qiansui. Third Elder was a well-known conservative in the celestial fox tribal nation. In his opinion, it was a disgrace to let a celestial fox mixed blood become a celestial fox saintess. Therefore, he set up an additional obstacle and copied all the corpse puppet technique into the ancient celestial fox language. I'd like to see what that celestial fox B** who came out of nowhere can do this time. Recalling the six-tailed celestial fox that appeared in the crystal ball yesterday, Hu Linglong's heart was filled with jealousy. The theory examination this time would not be a problem for those two, would it? Hu Linglong's seductive eyes fell on the magic array where Yushang and Lu Yunshuang were. The two girls were reading the scroll seriously and mumbling something under their breath. However, no matter how good they were, they could not catch up to her. Hu Linglong's lips curled up. Hu Linglong had learned the basics of ancient witchcraft like the corpse puppet technique when she was young. Now that she had learned it, it was much easier for her to learn compared to the average person. 1 hour passed quickly. More than 20 celestial fox saintess candidates walked out of the magic array. Except for a few specific people, most of them had a nervous look on their faces. Time's up. Everyone, recite the contents of the corpse puppet technique. Those who recite more than half of it will advance to the next round, Third Elder said. The 3 girls from Cangdu were the first to go. The first to go was Hua Yanluo. She recited about 80% of the content and successfully advanced to the next round. Feng Lian and Qin Yu had some trouble reciting, but they managed to recite about 50% of the words and successfully entered the second half of the round. The next few saintesses from the capital cities were not so lucky. Among them, several of them were mixed-race heavenly foxes. Among the 9 of them, 4 of them were eliminated because they could not recite more than 50% of the scripture. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked up. Her voice was clear and melodious like jade beads rolling on a jade plate. Without missing a single word, she completely memorized the entire corpse puppet art. Miss Linglong is indeed talented and intelligent. Third Elder nodded his head in praise. Humph, Chen Qi snorted with a look of disdain. She was certain that Hu Linglong had cheated. The corpse puppet technique is a unique witchcraft that can control people's souls. In the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, whoever can control the most people will win. If they can't control even one person, they'll be eliminated. The winner who hypnotizes the most people will have the right to go first in the next round of the Wushu test. After the Third Elder finished speaking, he clapped his hands, and 100 heavenly fox soldiers stepped out of their ranks. These celestial fox soldiers were all carefully selected by Third Elder. They were all elites among celestial fox soldiers who had experienced the battlefield. Compared to the average celestial fox soldier, their willpower was also stronger, making it difficult for them to be bewitched. Among the 20 celestial fox saintess candidates who had just learned the corpse puppet technique, more than 80% of them were reluctant to use it to hypnotize 100 celestial fox soldiers. Lu Yu of Quandu, eliminated. After the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, none of the celestial fox saintess candidates were successfully hypnotized. Wang Chang of Quandu, eliminated. As time passed, more and more people were eliminated. The corpse puppet technique is not something that just anyone can learn, Third Elder thought to himself as he watched. It was now Hua Yanluo's turn. Before her, only one celestial fox saintess candidate managed to hypnotize a person and successfully passed the written test. Hua Yanluo took a deep breath and activated her celestial fox inheritance, Fox Shadow Traceless. Beside her, a Hua Yanluo that looked exactly like her appeared. Using a celestial fox clone to use the corpse puppet technique together. This girl is quite clever. Third Elder nodded approvingly when he saw this. Using a celestial fox clone. This time, Hua Yanluo is too clever for her own good. Yun Xing shook her head. Chapter 1230. The celestial fox doppelganger seemed to enhance the effect of the corpse puppet technique, but the celestial fox doppelganger would disperse Hua Yanluo's mental strength. In this way, the effect of the corpse puppet technique would be greatly reduced. Therefore, Yun Sheng would not use the celestial fox doppelganger for this round of the competition. Hua Yanluo's talent in learning the corpse puppet technique was better than the other celestial fox saintess candidates. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, she had controlled 4 celestial fox soldiers. So far, she had the best result among all the candidates. Sangdu Hua Yanluo, advance. As soon as the Third Elder finished speaking, Hua Yanluo's whole body went limp. She felt as if her bones were about to fall apart. I'm so tired. I won't use this corpse puppet technique a second time even if you beat me to death, Hua Yanluo complained, but her face was full of joy. In any case, she had passed the written test. She also knew that it was impossible for her to become the saintess with her current strength. But the main thing was that after passing the written test, her status would skyrocket when she returned to the Hua family. At least, she would no longer have to be afraid of the official mother and sister of the Hua family. Seeing that Hua Yanluo had also controlled 4 soldiers, Qin Yu stepped forward. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, Qin Yu had already controlled 3 soldiers, but her mental strength was almost exhausted. There's still half an incense stick to burn. No matter what, I can't be worse than Hua Yanluo. Qin Yu was also stubborn. She had always felt that she was the least valued among the candidates in Sangdu, but this time, she wanted to be the first. She gritted her teeth and muttered something under her breath as she stared at one of the soldiers. This woman was still trying to be brave at this time. Yun Xing had already seen that Qin Yu's mental strength was on the verge of exhaustion. This state was very dangerous. If she was careless, she would likely be counterattacked by the corpse puppet technique. Sure enough, after a while, Qin Yu gave a short shout, and her eyes were full of pain. The Third Elder stepped forward to check. Qin Yu of Tsangdu has overused her spiritual power. She has already controlled 3 soldiers and advanced to the next round. Saintess candidates, I'm here to remind you that the corpse puppet spell is not an ordinary spell. Its side effects are huge. If you use it too much, you may injure yourself. Remember that. After the Third Elder reminded everyone, the competition continued. After learning their lesson from Qin Yu, the Saintess candidates became much more cautious. Feng Lian controlled the two of them and successfully advanced. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked forward with a smug look on her face. When she walked past Yu Shang, Yun Xing, and Lu Yunchuang, she even cast a provocative glance at them. Clearly, she had already viewed the three of them as her strongest opponents. Hu Linglong boasted that she was the most proficient in the corpse puppet technique. As soon as she stepped onto the stage, she immediately began to chant. Her foxy eyes revealed an alluring light. The celestial fox soldier who met her gaze only felt a numbing sensation run up the soles of his feet. His entire being became muddle-headed. Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique progressed very smoothly. In less than a third of an incense stick's time, she had already controlled 10 celestial fox soldiers. After those valiant and warlike soldiers were controlled, they surrounded Hu Linglong like loyal dogs. The onlookers could not help but sigh. This corpse puppet technique is quite impressive. If we encounter it in the Bahuang clan competition, it will be somewhat threatening. Green watched from the side and could not help but become more cautious. However, he did not know if this corpse puppet technique was also effective on experts. How many people do you think Hu Linglong will be able to control in the end? Unlike the envious faces of the other celestial fox saintess candidates, in Yunxing's eyes, Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique was very crude. She must have learned the corpse puppet technique before, but due to her aptitude, she should have only learned about 30% of it. At this level, the closer she is to the end, especially in the last third of an incense stick's time, the more her mental strength is exhausted. The speed of controlling people will also be much slower. About 25 people, slightly stronger than me. Lu Yunchuang's face was still frosty. Yunxing also nodded. Her concerns were similar to Lu Yunchuang's. However, Yunxing suddenly noticed that Yu Shang, who was not far away, was staring at Hu Linglong. A hint of calculation flashed across her blue-green eyes, which resembled those of a Persian cat. Was that woman up to no good? Yunxing's heart skipped a beat. Everyone's attention was now on Hu Linglong on the stage. No one noticed Yu Shang's strange behavior. Only Yunxing felt that something was amiss. Something seemed to float out of Yu Shang's hand. That thing, mixed with the sunlight, blew toward Hu Linglong. Just as Yunxing and Lu Yunchuang had guessed, in the last third of an incense stick's time, Hu Linglong's mental strength was exhausted, and the speed at which she used the corpse puppet technique became slower and slower. She did not notice that Yu Shang had done something to her body. So hot. Hu Linglong felt as if something was burning on her body. Everything before her was white, as if she was being illuminated by the dazzling sunlight. Hu Linglong's consciousness began to blur, and she muttered to herself. So hot, I want to take off my clothes. Chapter 1231. Yunxing did not expose Yu Shang's trick, but Yu Shang had already noticed Yunxing. That half-blood bitch had seen through her trick. Yu Shang's eyes were filled with fury. After Hu Linglong was rescued and woke up, she was embarrassed and angry when she found out about her embarrassing behavior. She rushed to Yunxing. It's you. What did you do to me? This human bitch was a doctor. The situation just now was so strange. She must have done something. Hu Linglong, be more polite. Yunxing could not be bothered with this idiot. She did not want to get into another conflict with Hu Linglong. Yu Shang was enjoying the show, waiting for the two of them to fight. When Third Elder saw this, he quickly persuaded Hu Linglong. After all, there were so many people present, and no one had seen Yunxing do anything. Hu Linglong's strange behavior could only be attributed to her improper use of the corpse puppet technique. After some calculations, they found that Hu Linglong had controlled a total of 20 celestial fox soldiers. However, because of her embarrassing behavior just now, everyone was looking at her strangely. Hu Linglong wanted to find a hole to hide in. She tried her best to recall, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not figure out what had happened to her. What happened? Lu Yunchuang asked Yunxing in a low voice. Someone plotted against us. Yunxing glanced at Yushang, who was also looking at her coldly. This woman had probably planned to do something to Hu Linglong long ago. Yunxing had also checked Hu Linglong's body. There were no signs of poison. Even if she confronted Hu Linglong face to face, others would only say that she was making false accusations. Yushang of Yudu's true identity was probably not that simple. Third Elder's expression turned ugly when he heard about Hu Linglong's incident. A few more Celestial Fox Saintess candidates took turns to go up, but most of their results were not as good as Hu Linglong's. Soon, it was the turn of the people from Fengdu. They were also more daunting than dangerous. Lu Yunchuang had received Yunxing's reminder and did not use her full strength. She used the corpse puppet technique to successfully control 13 people. Chen Qi's performance was barely satisfactory. She used the corpse puppet technique to control 5 people. Finally, it was Yunxing's turn. When Yunxing stepped forward, Yushang suddenly rushed out and blocked Yunxing's path. Third Elder, this kind of competition is too boring. Yushang has a suggestion. I want to compete with her. Yushang glanced at Yunxing. Yunxing and Yushang were the only 2 selected Celestial Fox Saintess candidates who possessed the 6-tailed Celestial Fox bloodline. The 2 of them had completely memorized the corpse puppet technique in the first half of the trial. Coupled with Hu Linglong's failure and her abnormal behavior just now, Yunxing and Yushang had become the strongest pair. How about it? Do you dare to compete with me? Yushang's blue and green eyes were filled with provocation. This woman had disrupted her plan with just a few needles. Yushang was already hostile towards Yunxing. How do we compete? Yunxing also wanted to see what tricks Yushang had up her sleeve. There were too many suspicious points about this woman. She might as well compete with her and find out the truth. Both of them had 6-tailed Celestial Fox bloodlines. What if they really competed? Third Elder pondered in his heart. Let them compete. A voice suddenly rang out in Third Elder's mind. Third Elder was slightly startled. It was clan leader Hu Qianqiu's voice. Could it be that the clan leader was also watching nearby? Third Elder no longer hesitated and agreed. He divided the 100 Celestial Fox soldiers into 2 halves, 50 on each side. The rules of the competition were also changed slightly. The winner would be whoever could control the 50 Celestial Fox soldiers in the shortest time. 50 people. Yunxing and Yushang glanced at the 50 Celestial Fox soldiers assigned to each side. The incense was lit. Yunxing and Yushang each began to perform the corpse puppet spell. Both of them began to chant. Unlike the previous Celestial Fox Saintesses, Yunxing and Yushang were much more proficient in the corpse puppet spell. In just a few breaths, Yunxing had already subdued a Celestial Fox soldier. On the other side, Yushang was not slow either. Her blue-green eyes seemed to have a magical power. Any Celestial Fox soldier who met her eyes would lose their souls and fall under her control. The Celestial Fox soldiers who had been subdued walked to Yunxing and Yushang's sides like puppets. It's clearly not their first time using the corpse puppet spell. Hu Linglong had also noticed something was amiss. She would never believe that the B***starred and Yushang from Yudu had never learned the corpse puppet spell before. It's not the first time some of them are using it either. How dare they criticize others? Lu Yunchuang mocked them without holding back. Hu Linglong's face alternated between red and white. It was as ugly as it could get. So fast. Yushang continued to perform the corpse puppet spell while paying attention to Yunxing's situation. What surprised her was that the celestial fox bastard who had appeared out of nowhere was actually as fast as her when using the corpse puppet spell. The number of celestial fox soldiers controlled by both sides was almost the same. This was the first time in many years that Yushang had met someone who was on par with her in using the corpse puppet spell. However, if the other party thought that they could beat her just like that, they were gravely mistaken. A smile spread across Yushang's plump lips. She suddenly stopped chanting. Chapter 1232. Yushang, you asked for it. Yunxing had wanted to pass the theory test casually, but she did not expect Yushang to provoke her again and again. Yunxing had never been an easy person to get along with. The celestial fox soldiers, many of whom were on Yunxing's side, were being forcefully controlled by Yushang's spectral eye. Yunxing's black pupils suddenly turned golden. The moment her pupils turned golden, the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed. Bzzz, everyone heard a strange sound coming from above their heads. That is... What is that? A giant golden pupil, which was tightly shut, hung high in the sky like a scorching sun. The giant pupil opened abruptly, and the golden light emitted from the golden pupil shocked everyone in the celestial fox shrine. Oh no! Even Green felt dizzy at that moment. He hurriedly activated his magical defense. The spectators who reacted faster also hurriedly released their magical defense and battle energy walls in an attempt to resist the golden light emitted by the strange pupil. The celestial fox soldiers, who were already under the control of the spectral eye, felt dizzy when they came in contact with the golden light. They stopped walking toward Yushang and walked toward Yunxing. What? Yushang also felt dizzy. The spectral eye on her body was stinging under the golden light of the golden pupil. Needless to say, it was difficult to control the celestial fox soldiers with the spectral eye. The time it takes for an incense stick to burn is up. The voice of the third elder woke the crowd up instantly. The giant golden pupil in the sky also disappeared. On the field, Yunxing and Yushang stood facing each other. Both of them did not look good. What kind of sorcery did you use? Yushang did not care about the competition anymore. Her face was red with anger as she stared at Yunxing. Celestial Fox's inheritance, golden puppet eyes, Leng Hao said coldly. Impossible. I've never heard of such a celestial fox inheritance in the world, said Yushang in disbelief. Not to mention Yushang, even Third Elder and Hu Qianqiu, who was secretly observing the competition, had never seen such a celestial fox inheritance. Even if I haven't seen it before, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in this world. This is an inheritance that I comprehended myself. Yunxing's golden puppet eye was comprehended by her by combining it with the Yen clan's Shenong eye. It could be said that other than her, no one else in the 8 Desolates continent could use the golden puppet eyes. Self-created. She created her own celestial fox inheritance? Hearing that Yunxing's celestial fox inheritance was created by herself, the third elder couldn't help but be shocked. Very few people were able to create their own celestial fox inheritance. The power of the golden puppet eyes just now was indeed not to be underestimated. If this was true, then this celestial fox mixed blood's talent was much higher than Yushang and Hu Linglong's. The people from Cangdu and Fengdu were also shocked. If Yunxing really used the celestial fox inheritance, including the celestial fox claw and the fox's traceless shadow, she would have at least 3 celestial fox inheritances. This woman had not revealed anything earlier. Wasn't she a little too sinister? Third Elder, the two of them have violated the rules of the theory test by using the celestial fox inheritance. They should be disqualified. Hu Linglong seized the opportunity to confirm that Yunxing and Yushang had violated the rules. The theory test is not the combat test. You can't use the celestial fox inheritance, said third elder. Yunsheng and Yushang's expressions changed slightly. However, the two of you are indeed better than the others in the application of the corpse puppet technique. Third elder had already received the clan leader's instructions. He knew that these two women were very likely to be the most promising candidates for the celestial fox saintess in the future. At this time, if one of them violated the rules and both of them were disqualified, how would he explain it to the clan leader and the elders' council? Therefore, after careful consideration, I have decided to make an exception and let the two of you enter the next round of the combat test. However, the two of you will have to be punished accordingly. In the third round of the combat test, the two of you will be the last to depart after the other saintess candidates. Third elder made a compromise. As a result, Hu Linglong, who was originally third place at most, suddenly jumped to first place in the theory test. Yunsheng and Yushang, who were supposed to have the best results, ended up at the bottom because of the golden puppet eyes and spectral eyes. Some people were very satisfied with this result, while others were very angry. After the theory test, the number of people in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was reduced from 20 to 16. The remaining 16 people would participate in the last round of the combat test in 3 days. Let's wait and see in the combat test. Yushang glared hatefully at Yunsheng. If it wasn't for Yunsheng, she would definitely be first in the theory test. Hu Linglong had profited from her misfortune. Just as she was about to show off, she suddenly saw Green in the crowd. Green, why are you here? Are you here to watch me participate in the selection ceremony? Seeing her sweetheart, Hu Linglong smiled and rushed towards Green. However, Green seemed to not see her at all. His gaze passed through the crowd. Hu Linglong's cry attracted the attention of Yunsheng and Yushang. Only then did the two of them notice that there was an extraordinary young man standing in the crowd. It's him, the descendant of the Bahuang tribe. Yunsheng still remembered Green, but her gaze quickly fell on the woman next to Green. With just one glance, Yunsheng realized that this woman was very similar to her mother, Hu Jiusheng, and also to Hu Xing. Yunsheng hesitated for a moment. Coincidentally, Lu Yunshuang walked over from the side. Only then did she dismiss the idea of chatting with the woman. Yushang also saw Green in the crowd. At the same time, she clearly heard Hu Linglong's affectionate tone. What was this man's background? Yushang's beautiful eyes darted around. A scheming glint flashed across her blue-green eyes. She brushed her hair and walked gracefully to stand in front of Green. This is the young chief of the Nine Luan tribe. Nice to meet you. With that, she winked at Green. Whether it was Hu Linglong or Yushang, Green did not notice their attentions. He looked a little absent-minded. His gaze was fixed on the masked woman not far away. So familiar. This feeling. Green felt his heartbeat quicken involuntarily. Why were those eyes so similar to the eyes of the person he yearned for day and night? Was it her? Why was she in the Bahuang continent? And why was she participating in the selection of Celestial Fox's Saintess? Big Brother Green, are you even listening to me? Hu Linglong was even more annoyed when she saw Green ignoring her and Yushang fawning over him. It was then that she saw the woman next to Green. Big Brother Green, why are you with the chief's wife? Hu Linglong yelled. Chapter 1233. The Chief's Wife. Hearing Hu Linglong's roar, those who were not paying attention all looked at Hu Rulan. Although Hu Rulan was the chief's wife, she lived in seclusion, so not many people knew her true face. Because of Hu Xing, Hu Linglong had always been hostile to Hu Rulan. Why would the clan leader's wife be walking together with a young man? For a moment, everyone began to discuss. Hu Linglong, what nonsense are you talking about? This madam is here to find her daughter, Lu scolded. This time, he had come to Hu's city in disguise. Now that Hu Linglong had made such a ruckus, everyone would know his identity. This woman was still so annoying. Find her daughter. Brother Lu, isn't her daughter that useless Hu Xing? That useless person who disgraced the celestial fox tribe and is now a plaything of the human race. Hu Linglong looked at Hu Rulan's pretty face with disgust. Hu Xing looked very similar to Hu Rulan. Relying on this face that men flocked to, she pretended to be delicate and pitiful all day long. Don't talk about Xing like that. Xing is not useless. Hu Rulan listened to Hu Linglong's words. Every word was like a knife, stabbing her all over. Her daughter's whereabouts were unknown, but Hu Linglong still humiliated her like this. Earlier, someone said that her daughter's disappearance was related to Hu Linglong. Even a clay figurine had a temper. Hu Rulan was angry and started to fight with Hu Linglong. Hu Linglong did not care about Hu Rulan at all. Even if she was the chief's wife, she was already the chief's wife who was no longer favored. The chief, Hu Qianqiu, did not even bother to look at her. Go away, you old woman who no one wants. Hu Linglong lifted her fingertips and pulled Hu Rulan's hair, grabbing her face. Stop. Although he did not know how Hu Rulan suddenly became the chief's wife, he was the one who brought her here. Lu would not allow Hu Linglong to hurt her. He was about to stop Hu Linglong, but at this moment, he heard a paw sound. The slap was ruthless and accurate as it flew towards Hu Linglong's face. This slap came so suddenly that Hu Linglong only felt a dull pain on her face. She was forcefully thrown back and fell to the ground in a sorry state. Hu Rulan, who had a terrified look on her face, had already been snatched away by someone to protect her behind him. Xing is not a good-for-nothing. Hu Rulan's face was full of tears as she muttered unwillingly. Madam, everything is fine now. The soft female voice woke Hu Rulan up from her dream. She looked up and saw the masked celestial fox saintess candidate looking at her. Even though her face was covered, her eyes were filled with worry and heartache. Hu Rulan had only seen such a look on her daughter's face. The woman in front of her, her figure and silhouette, was so similar to the daughter she yearned for day and night. You are. Xing Hu Rulan could not help but pull off Yunxing's veil with trembling hands. Yunxing did not expect Hu Rulan to suddenly make such a move. She wanted to stop her, but it was too late. When the veil fell, a beautiful face was exposed in front of everyone. Anyone who had seen the former celestial fox saintess, Hu Xing, could not help but gasp at this moment. Hu Rulan's eyes were filled with infatuation. Xing it was really her Xing Green was dumbfounded. He stared at Yunxing in a daze. This couldn't be a dream, right? It was her. Compared to a few years ago, the beauty in front of him, whether it was her temperament or cultivation, was much better than before. She was Yunxing, the Yunxing who made him lose his soul the moment he saw her. It's you, Hu Xing. How dare you come back? Hu Linglong was slapped by Yunxing. Her hair was messy and her cheeks were swollen. However, all of this could not compare to the shock she felt when she saw Hu Xing. Why was this woman haunting her? Why did she return to the Eight Wastelands continent? It's the saintess. Isn't this the saintess who has been missing for a long time? Everyone from the Celestial Fox tribal country, including the third elder, was shocked. No, you're not Hu Xing. Where did this impostor come from? Hu Linglong looked again and realized that this woman was not Hu Xing. Although she looked exactly the same as Hu Xing, her eyes and actions, as well as her cultivation, were definitely not that trash. She's Xing Hu Linglong, don't slander her. Hu Rulan refused to let go of Yun Xing when she saw her. Her daughter had been missing for so long. She was finally back. Madam, listen to my explanation first. Yun Xing saw Hu Linglong bullying Hu Rulan and knew that Hu Rulan was Hu Xing's poor mother. She wanted to find Hu Rulan and tell her about Hu Xing's ashes after the theory examination. Who knew that Hu Linglong would be so hateful as to humiliate and beat Hu Rulan in public? She could not stand it anymore. Xing, mother knew it was you. Mother knew that you would come to the Celestial Fox Shrine with a premonition. You're really here. Let mother see if you're hurt or suffered. Mother is useless and made you suffer so much. Hu Rulan did not hear Yun Xing's words at all. She touched Yun Xing's face and held her hand. What's going on? How did this celestial fox bastard become the saintess? The most shocked people were the saintess candidates from Fengdu and Sangdu, especially Qin Yu and Qin Qi. They were still mocking Yun Xing's background. Who knew that she was actually the patriarch's daughter? Third elder was also embarrassed. If Yun Xing was really the previous celestial fox saintess who went missing, then this celestial fox selection ceremony would become a joke. Hu Dou had prepared for the celestial fox selection ceremony for so long and had even publicized it to the public. The patriarch had even invited the old patriarch of the 9-1 tribe to watch. All of this was wasted effort. Also, how should the saintess candidates who had traveled thousands of miles from other capital cities, as well as the women who had been assassinated on their way here, be dealt with? She can't be Hu Xing. She's a mixed blood. Have you forgotten that Hu Xing is a purebred? This woman is a mixed blood. She must have used some method to deliberately disguise herself as Hu Xing. She has ulterior motives. She must be arrested. Hu Linglong was also panicking in her heart. No matter who she was, she would never allow her to become the celestial fox saintess again. This matter needs to be investigated thoroughly. Otherwise, it will be too unfair to the other saintess candidates. Yu Shang was also dissatisfied. If it wasn't for this woman, Yu Shang was completely confident that she would become the celestial fox saintess this time. All of this was disrupted by this celestial fox bastard who appeared out of nowhere. That's right. Revoke her status as a saintess candidate and arrest her. The other saintess candidates also echoed. Chapter 1234. All the spearheads were pointed at Yun Xing. You're not allowed to bully Xing. Hu Rulan was brave for the first time in her life in the face of these accusations and difficulties. She opened her arms and protected Yun Xing like a mother eagle protecting her young. However, her shoulders were trembling uncontrollably. Yun Xing was a little touched, but at the same time, she was a little emotional. Hu Rulan and her mother looked exactly the same, but their personalities and strength were worlds apart. If her mother was here, she would probably cast a magic spell on anyone who was dissatisfied. Yun Xing did not cower in the face of all the questioning gazes. She patted Hu Rulan's shoulder as if she was coaxing a child. Madam, I will deal with this. Yun Xing took a step forward and swept her gaze over everyone present at a leisurely pace. So what if I'm Hu Xing? So what if I'm not Hu Xing? Don't you want a saintess? Do you really think that everyone wants to be the saintess of the celestial fox tribe? Yun Xing sneered. How dare you look down on the celestial fox saintess? The third elder was provoked by Yun Xing's mocking gaze. He let out a furious roar, and the 100 or so heavenly fox soldiers immediately surrounded him. Hold on. Green took a step forward and blocked the path of the celestial fox soldiers. Brother Green, what are you doing? That woman is not a good person. I remember now. I met this woman in the Dutian blood realm. She had pretended to be Hu Xing. She must be a spy from the boundless world. Hu Linglong was furious when she saw Green protecting that mixed-blood bastard. Shut up. If you dare to speak ill of her again, don't blame me for being rude. Green's gaze was cold. What's wrong with the young clan leader? Why do you want to get involved in the Celestial Fox tribe? Yaoji and Huiyu were puzzled by the young chieftain's sudden change. Before he left, Green had said firmly that he would not marry any Celestial Fox saintess even if all the women in the world were dead. That's not right. Look at the young patriarch's face, why is it so red? Also, look at the way he looks at that lady. Huiyu saw some clues. Apart from having a good relationship with D Clan's young patriarch C, the young patriarch had never been too close to anyone else. But today, he clearly looked like he was experiencing his first awakening of love. Grey Feather then looked at Yunxing. It was undeniable that this Celestial Fox mixed-blood woman was very beautiful, so beautiful that it was suffocating. However, the young patriarch was not a superficial person who would only look at a person's appearance. What exactly was going on? You again. I'll handle my own matters. Yunxing also had a puzzled look on her face. She recognized Green, but if she didn't remember wrongly, she even fought with him last time. Why did he suddenly jump out? Yunxing, don't be afraid. I'm here. Green said gently. What the hell is going on? A stern rebuke was heard, and the crowd parted. The Celestial Fox tribe's patriarch, Hu Qianqiu, and the 9 tribe's old patriarch walked over together. Hu Qianqiu had given instructions to the third elder earlier, and thought that the theory test had been successfully completed. Who knew that the third elder suddenly reported that the patriarch's wife, the 9 tribe's young patriarch, and a woman who looked exactly like the previous saintess had all appeared in the Celestial Fox Temple together. Hu Qianqiu knew that something was wrong, so he invited the 9 tribe's old patriarch and rushed to the Celestial Fox Temple together. Hu Qianqiu saw Hu Rulan and Yunxing at a glance. When he saw Yunxing, Hu Qianqiu was also shocked. This woman was too similar to his daughter, Hu Xing. Knowing that the daughter was no match for the father, Hu Qianqiu, that kind of old fox, could tell at a glance that this woman wasn't Hu Xing. Hu Xing didn't have such sharp eyes, and didn't have such a cold aura. The 9 tribe's old patriarch's gaze fell on his grandson, Green. But when he looked at his grandson, he didn't seem to see his grandfather at all. At this moment, he was gazing at a Celestial Fox woman affectionately. The 9 tribe's old patriarch almost burst into tears. What was this situation? Wasn't this brat always clamoring that he wasn't willing to marry into the Celestial Fox tribe? Looking at his current appearance, he definitely liked the other party. The 9 tribe's old patriarch looked at Yunxing again, and when he saw her appearance, he nodded his head in satisfaction. After looking a few more times, the 9 tribe's old patriarch suddenly realized that this woman was the prospective granddaughter-in-law that he had taken a fancy to in the inn earlier. Who exactly are you? Hu Qianqiu questioned Yunxing. Yunxing was also sizing up Hu Qianqiu. This Celestial Fox tribe's patriarch looked very young, and his appearance was very scholarly, but his pair of cunning eyes betrayed him. This man was the Celestial Fox people that Hu Xing said was cold and heartless. For so many years, he didn't care about the life and death of Hu Xing and his daughter. Qianqiu, she is our Xing, When Hu Rulan saw Hu Qianqiu, she was still a bit timid, but she was afraid that her husband would scare her daughter again, so she hurriedly walked forward. Nonsense, she's not Xing. Hu Qianqiu was just about to reprimand her. Hey, Qianqiu, it doesn't matter whether this girl is your daughter or not. What's important is whether she is competent for the position of Celestial Fox Saintess. The 9 tribe's old patriarch winked at Hu Qianqiu. Hu Qinqiu saw that the 9-1 tribe's old patriarch's attitude was ambiguous, and then he used his finger to secretly point at Green and Yunxing. Yunxing and Green, one was delicate and cold, the other was tall and elegant. Chapter 1235. Once the Celestial Fox people leader Hu Qianqiu spoke, the other candidates, including Hu Linglong, could not say anything. The 9-Phoenix-old patriarch had a smile on his face as he beckoned his grandson over. Lu glanced at Yunxing and walked away unwillingly. Rulan, follow me back to the palace. Hu Qianqiu walked up and wanted to take Hu Rulan away. I'm not going back. I'll go wherever Xing goes. Hu Rulan left the palace this time to find her daughter. Up to you. I don't believe you can stay outside for long. Hu Qianqiu was exasperated. This woman dared to go against his wishes. It was only a few days and she had already rebelled. She did not think that she was powerless and had no money. She would come back obediently in a few days. Hu Qianqiu left with the third elder and the rest. Yunxing rubbed her forehead and looked at Hu Rulan's face that looked like her mother. She was thinking about how to tell Hu Rulan about Hu Xing's death. After learning that Hu Rulan had left the palace and had nowhere to stay for the time being, Yunxing could only inform Green and bring Hu Rulan to the inn where she was staying. Madam, I'm not Hu Xing. My name is Yunxing and I'm from the Boundless Land. Hu Xing is no longer here. Before she died, she told me to bring her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe. Yunxing hesitated for a while and decided to tell the truth. She took out the box containing Hu Xing's ashes. Hu Rulan did not say a word and did not take the box of ashes. Madam, please restrain your grief. Yunxing sighed. She knew that Hu Rulan and Hu Xing depended on each other for many years. It would be hard for her to accept her daughter's death. No, that's not true. You're Xing. You look exactly the same as Xing. Xing, why are you joking with me? Hu Rulan smiled, her beautiful face full of disbelief. She lovingly caressed Yunxing's face, her eyes filled with stubbornness. Madam Rulan, I look very similar to Hu Xing. Also, you and my mother were both born in the Dutian blood beast sector. I don't know if you still remember, but the two of you look exactly the same. Yunxing couldn't bear to see Hu Rulan's expression and comforted her. No, Xing won't die. You're Xing. Xing, don't worry. From now on, Mother will never leave you again. Wherever you go, Mother will follow. If you want to go to the boundless world, I will go with you. Hu Rulan despaired and held on to Yunxing's hand, refusing to let go. Tears filled her eyes. Yunxing knew that Hu Rulan wouldn't be able to accept this reality in such a short period of time. She could only use acupuncture to make Hu Rulan fall asleep temporarily. I won't be able to hand over the bone ashes for a while. However, the trouble I caused this time is really big. I don't know when Hu Rulan will accept the news of Hu Xing's death. This Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony must be completed successfully. Only then can I obtain the antidote to save Ying and baby sheep. Yunxing pondered. There was only one round left in the Saintess selection ceremony. Among the remaining 10 people, only Yu Shang and Hu Linglong could pose a threat. Especially Hu Linglong. She had been taught a lesson by her a few times. She would definitely do something in this combat examination. She was the daughter of the chief's younger brother. She must have some influence in the Celestial Fox tribe. Also, the power that the Jade Garment of Yudu had displayed this time should only be a small part of her power. She would be Yunqing's greatest enemy in this Saintess selection ceremony. There was one more thing that Yunxing was worried about. She still didn't know the specific content of the combat examination. However, no matter what, she had to prepare well. Yunxing decided to cultivate the corpse puppet technique and other celestial fox inheritances in the last few days. In fact, Yunxing wasn't the only one who was full of expectations for the celestial fox tribe's saintess selection ceremony this time. After the old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe met up with the young chief, Green, the old chief kept looking at his grandson with a silly smile. Green felt goosebumps all over his body. Hee, kid, didn't you say that you wouldn't come to Who City? Why did you come here without a word? The old chief was tired of living in the Celestial Fox Palace these few days. He might as well move to an inn. Isn't it because you randomly matched me? Green was annoyed. If it wasn't for his grandfather being a busybody, he wouldn't have caused so much trouble. He originally planned to leave after watching the competition quietly. Who knew that such a big mistake would happen midway and even let Hu Linglong know that he was also in Hu City? After his identity was exposed, those Celestial Fox Saintess candidates all came to fawn on him. These few days, the inn's doorstep was almost broken by so many people. Green was so annoyed that he simply refused to see them and rejected them all outside the door. Kid, do you really think that your grandfather is wrong? Alright then, the marriage between the 9 Phoenix tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe will be cancelled. So you don't like that girl called Yunxing? The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe waved his hand and shouted that he wanted to cancel the marriage. Grandfather, what nonsense are you talking about? I didn't. Green stuttered. In short, do you like Yunxing or not? The old chief had already found out that this wasn't the first time his grandson and Yunxing had met. The reason why he was so against the marriage with the Celestial Fox tribe was not because he didn't like women, but because he already had someone in his heart. I like her very much. Green couldn't stand his grandfather's pestering and simply confessed. Then it's settled. This old man wants this granddaughter-in-law. I'll choose an auspicious day with Hu Qianqiu and let the two of you get married. The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe laughed happily, as if he would be able to hold his great-grandson on this day next year. Grandfather, don't mess around. Yunxing doesn't like me. She seems to have someone in her heart. Green was distressed. Yunxing's tone when talking to him earlier was very distant. However, this was not surprising. Speaking of which, he and Yunxing had only met twice. The time they spent together was not even a full day. In this case, how could he let the girl like him? Green thought that Yunxing was not the kind of woman who would be manipulated. If he provoked her, she would definitely fight to the death. So what if she has someone in her heart? She can participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection, which means she is still chaste. Let me tell you, women are easy to deceive. My grandson is tall and mighty, and is the young chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe. Looking at the entire 8 Desolates continent, no one can compare to you. After this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony is over, I'll think of a way to make the raw rice become cooked rice. At that time, this granddaughter-in-law can't run away. The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe said and laughed. Green stood at the side, looking at his grandfather's intoxicated face helplessly. Chapter 1236. Seeing his grandfather's confident look, Green secretly shook his head. Grandpa must have been deceived by Yunxing's appearance. Yunxing was not easy to deal with. Green couldn't imagine what it would be like to have sex with Yunxing. That woman would probably not agree to the marriage. It was more likely that Yunxing had sharpened her knife and crippled him. However, even though she was such a ferocious woman, Lu was still very attracted to her. In Lu's opinion, the selection of the Heavenly Fox Saintess had undoubtedly brought him and Yunxing one step closer. What was the relationship between Yunxing and Hu Rulin? But judging from Yunxing's appearance, it seemed that she still valued the other party. Hu Rulan had a good impression of him. If he could fight for more, he might have a chance with Yunsheng. Both grandfather and grandson had their own thoughts. Grey Feather and Yaoji, who were guarding outside the door, had different expressions. I really don't know what the old patriarch was thinking. That woman doesn't deserve to be our young patriarch's wife. Yaoji gritted her teeth. Yaoji, this is not something we should care about. Everyone can see that our young patriarch likes that girl very much. Grey Feather had watched the young patriarch grow up. The young patriarch had lost his parents when he was young. Although the old patriarch loved him in every possible way, the young patriarch had never accepted anyone except his good friend Ultraviolet, especially women. This was the first time that Grey Feather saw Green treat a woman differently. I will never agree with that woman. She may not become the celestial fox saintess. Yaoji thought to herself. No matter what, she would not let that woman become the young patriarch's wife. Moreover, Yaoji had already seen that she was not the only one who didn't want Yunxing to become the celestial fox saintess. In the outskirts of Hu City, there was a strange building shaped like a lighthouse. It was like a big sword, piercing into the dark night sky. Around it, the trees were withered. Only a few zombie owls landed on the trees, motionless. The interior and exterior of the building were gloomy. There were no lights in the building, only a few magic arrays that looked like hellfire emitted dim light. Inside the building, there was not a single soldier guarding it, but within a radius of 10 miles, there was no sign of human habitation. There was a long staircase, winding like a mountain road, all the way to the top of the tower. This lighthouse-like building was quite famous in the Celestial Fox tribal nation and even in the Bakra orcs. This tower was called the Witch Doctor Tower. It was the residence of the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. Celestial Fox was the only one living in the tower. At the top of the Witch Doctor Tower, there was a huge magical array. An old woman in a loose long robe was casting an incantation. As she chanted, the powerful wizard power was like a bat, occupying a coffin made of bronze. The coffin was no different from an ordinary coffin. Its surface was rusty, and there were a lot of ancient celestial fox incantations carved on it. The coffin floated in the air above the magical array, emitting a dim light. The old woman was very old. Her skin was loose, and her eyes were muddy yellow. But such an old woman was the most respected person in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. Even the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu, had to be courteous when he saw her. This was the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In the Celestial Fox tribal nation, her status was comparable to the chief of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, Hu Qianqiu, and the Council of Elders. The Great Witch Doctor was proficient in all kinds of witchcraft. Her medical skills were also very good. The coffin was open, and there was a human mummy lying inside. The mummy was wrapped in a lot of bandages. From the shape of the body, the mummy should have been a woman. The Great Witch Doctor was chanting an incantation, and a mysterious wizard power fell on the mummy. After 6 or 7 hours, the mummy moved. The bandages fell off, and the ancient mummy revealed her true face. The first thing that appeared was a pair of blue-green eyes and snow-white skin that was even more delicate than white jade. After the bandages were removed, the mummy was none other than the Jade of Yudashang, who had shone in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. My lord, your injuries are no longer a problem. The Great Witch Doctor was of noble status. Ordinary people had to bow to her when they saw her, but when she saw the Jade of Yudashang, she bowed. Yushang put on her clothes and waved her hand, indicating that the Great Witch Doctor need not be so polite. Yushang had returned to the Witch Doctor Tower after the written exam. Yunxing's golden eye scorpion was very powerful. The golden light from the golden eye had injured Yushang's spectral eye to a certain extent. Once she returned to the Witch Doctor Tower, blisters began to appear on her skin, as if she had been scalded. This made her look very disgusting. Fortunately, the great witch doctor treated her in time. Now, there were no more wounds on her body. "Can you tell what technique the opponent used?" Yushang asked the celestial fox great witch doctor. "My lord, I don't know what kind of inheritance it is, but the opponent's technique is very special. If I'm not wrong, it must be a special martial art combined with the celestial fox's inheritance. She also seems to have a close relationship with the previous saintess, Hu Xing." The great witch doctor treated Yushang's wounds with wizard power. Yushang was the great witch doctor's master. None of the celestial fox people's patriarch, Hu Qianqiu, and the other elders knew this. Hearing the great witch doctor mention the previous saintess, Hu Xing, Yushang's eyes were no longer as seductive as they were during the day. Her blue and green eyes were filled with coldness. "She's not the saintess of celestial fox. I'm the real celestial fox saintess," Yushang said angrily when the great witch doctor mentioned the previous celestial fox saintess, Hu Xing. That trash, the reputation of the celestial fox saintess had been ruined by her. "My lord, please calm down. You are the real celestial fox saintess. You were and will be. You are the most outstanding celestial fox saintess in the history of the celestial fox tribe," the great witch doctor said fearfully. "If it wasn't for that bitch Hu Yen, I wouldn't have become what I am today. I had to rely on this Yudu woman to survive." Yushang, or rather, the saintess of the celestial fox tribe nation, was from the same generation as Hu Yen. Venomous light shot out from Hu Yushang's eyes. Most of the celestial fox people had heard of Hu Yen, but not many knew about Hu Yushang. Hu Yushang and Hu Yen were sisters of the same father but different mothers. They had grown up together. However, because Hu Yen was too outstanding, her limelight overshadowed Hu Yushang's. Hu Yushang was a five-tailed celestial fox, while Hu Yen was a six-tailed celestial fox. Hu Yen became the patriarch of the celestial fox people, while Hu Yushang could only be the celestial fox saintess. Even Patriarch Yi Xiu of the Qilan tribe, whom Hu Yushang had a crush on, fell in love with Hu Yen after meeting her. Hu Yushang hated Hu Yen to the core, but she was very cunning. On the surface, Hu Yushang and Hu Yen seemed to be on good terms with each other, as if they were sisters. However, in reality, Hu Yushang had always harbored hatred in her heart and looked for opportunities to frame Hu Yen. Chapter 1237. The Bakra orcs and the humans were engaged in a battle of life and death. As the saintess of the celestial fox tribe, Hu Yushang had a disagreement with the tribe leader of the celestial fox tribe, Hu Yen. Finally, she got her chance and used the conflict between the Bakra orcs and the Bakra orcs to cause Hu Yen and Yi Xiu to fall out. In the end, Hu Yen died in the Dutian blood world while trying to transfer the bloodline of the celestial fox. Hu Yushang was also severely injured, but with the help of the celestial fox witch doctor who had a crush on her, she escaped to the Eight Desolates continent. She thought that after Hu Yen died, the celestial fox tribe and Yi Xiu would fall into her hands. Little did she know that things were completely different from what she had imagined. Yi Xiu died in the blood world of the Eight Desolates. The idiots of the celestial fox tribe only remembered Hu Yen. They even built a celestial fox shrine to commemorate Hu Yen. Hu Yushang, on the other hand, was completely ignored. Not only that, the Black Qilan tribe who had lost their tribe leader, Yi Xiu, also vented their anger on the celestial fox tribe. They led their troops to attack the celestial fox tribe, and Hu Yushang was severely injured in that battle. On her deathbed, Hu Yushang gave a strand of her soul to the witch doctor and asked him to find a suitable body for her. When her soul power recovered, she could be reborn. Unfortunately, the witch doctor spent his entire life trying to find a body that was compatible with Hu Yushang's soul. He could only ask future generations of celestial fox witch doctors to look for a suitable body for a celestial fox woman. Until this generation's great shaman doctor. By chance and coincidence, she actually found the Yudu jade garment. Not only did Yudu Yushang look similar to the celestial fox saintess Hu Yushang, but her bloodline was also very pure. She was a five-tailed celestial fox. The witch doctor caught Yudu Yushang and shrunk her soul into a shaman formation. He then placed Hu Yushang's strand of soul into Yudu Yushang's body. After more than 20 years, Hu Yushang's soul and Yudu Yushang's body finally merged perfectly. At this time, the witch doctor proposed a new celestial fox saintess, and Yudu Yushang appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Yudu Yushang's 5 tails, and celestial fox saintess, she became 6-tailed from 5-tailed celestial fox saintess. If everything went according to the grand shaman and Yushang's plan, Yushang would naturally become the saintess of the heavenly foxes. But then, Yun SSSS, S-ins. She was witch woman Yushang. S and Yushang and fox at any, one fox in S in foxes, and in fox saintess. Fox in Yushang saintess Hu Yen. Yushang, who? Yushang. Yushang thought. Her face under the veil was very similar to Chang Hu Yen, the celestial fox people of the past. That woman is a hindrance. We must get rid of her during the combat test. Yudu Yushang had never been at a disadvantage before. Yun Sheng was the first person to make her suffer. She would never let Yun Sheng off the hook so easily. Don't worry, Master. I've already set up an ambush there during the combat test. They will all listen to your orders. They will definitely kill her, the witch doctor said. The outside world only knew that the celestial fox witch doctor supported the previous celestial fox saintess, Hu Xing. What they didn't know was that the witch doctor didn't support Hu Xing. On the contrary, she only saw Hu Xing as a dispensable existence. She had been waiting for Yudu Yushang's return all these years. She thought that with Hu Xing's disappearance, it was only natural that Yudu Yushang would come back to inherit the title of Celestial Fox Saintess. Who would have thought that Yun Xing's appearance would disrupt her and Yudu Yushang's plan? Also, did you find out what I asked you to investigate? Yudu Yushang picked up a mirror and looked at her charming face. There's no news about the Black Chelan King for now. However, I heard that the Black Chelan tribe has found the Chelan King Sarira left behind, the witch doctor said. In Yudu Yushang's past life, the Black Chelan King Yeshio was her favorite. Unfortunately, Yeshio only loved Hu Shang's older sister, Hu Yen. I can sense Yeshio's aura. I'm sure he's still alive. Yudu Yushang chose to revive at this time mainly because she sensed the Black Chelan King Yeshio's aura. The man who was as handsome and powerful as the King of the Night was indeed alive. But Master, if Yeshio really does come back to life, the first thing he'll do will be... The witch doctor had a top-secret document in his hands. It was left behind by the first witch doctor who had participated in the Great War of 8 Baron. That's right. If a man like Yeshio really revives, the first thing he'll do will be to wash the boundless continent with blood. And this time, I'll stand beside him in Hu Yan's place. Yudu Yushang chuckled. For most people, these 3 days were very torturous. After Hu Rulan learned about her daughter Hu Xing's death, she became muddle-headed and spouted nonsense every day. She would either fall asleep or pester Yun Xing. She did this all the way until the day of the Heavenly Fox martial test. Worried about Hu Rulan's safety, Yun Xing thought about it and entrusted Hu Rulan to Green for the time being. She's wary of everyone, but she seems to treat you quite well. Please take care of her while I'm participating in the combat trial. Yun Xing already knew Green's identity. She'd also heard from Lu Yunshuang that the 9-1 tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe had a marriage contract. However, even if she won the Saintess selection this time, she would not have anything to do with green. In Yunsheng's heart, there was only one person, Yi Baiming. Green was flattered by Yunsheng's trust. Without another word, he took on the task of taking care of Hu Rulan. Unlike the literary trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess, the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess was held in the Celestial Fox Palace. Early in the morning, Yunsheng and Lu Yunshuang arrived at the Celestial Fox Palace together. Yunsheng looked identical to the previous Celestial Fox Saintess. Therefore, as soon as she appeared, the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from the other capital cities looked at her with revulsion. Other than Lu Yunshuang, only Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo treated her slightly better. However, what surprised Yunsheng was that there were no arenas in the Celestial Fox Palace. It seemed that the combat trial this time was not as simple as an ordinary arena competition. After all the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had arrived, the leader of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu, and the old chief and young chief of the 9-1 tribe also appeared. Saintess candidates, congratulations on passing through the intense competition and entering the final round of the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection. The content of the combat trial this time has also been confirmed, the search for the Celestial Fox inheritance pillar. With that, Hu Qianqiu flicked his sleeves. An illusion appeared in the sky. It was a lush forest with a large number of flying demonic beasts circling above the forest. From deep within the forest, roars of demonic beasts could be heard from time to time. The illusion showed the most chaotic area in the entire 8 Wilderness continent, also known as the 8 Wilderness Mountain Range.